Welcome to the Class is Permanent podcast. Today is Tuesday, January 6th. We have episode 10 up here ahead of us. We are going to jump into Pucc's AFCON Corner. We have some big news in the world of Manchester United with Ruben Amorim sacking. We're going to go through the transfer portal, talk about some of the rumor deals, some of the deals that have officially been confirmed, jump into some fun different transfer segments, our Mystery 11, weekend recap, midweek preview. Yeah, big one here. Let's get into it. Away we go.
Class is permanent! Form is temporary!
Alrighty, fellas. How are we? Pucci Main. How was the weekend, brother?
The weekend was good. The last 30 minutes have been hell.
Yeah, why's that, Pooch?
Think somebody's stealing my internet. I've been told I'm echoing on my phone, which is what I'm recording on currently. But the weekend of footy was amazing. It's just the last 30 minutes have been hell.
Poor Pooch has been living through hell. Before we dive into anything, how are you, sir?
I'm pretty good. I'm just really excited that we've got this podcast started. We've made it past the intro segment, which is huge for us tonight. And I think it's going to be a good one.
I think it's going to be a good one. You know, you can't make an omelet without breaking some eggs. So I think we need to break some eggs, get them out in the early part, and let's jump into it.
Real quickie. I'm feeling like this is going to go off the rails super quick. I am so ready to let this go slide off the rails after the past 30 minutes. I'm just ready to go as far off the rails as I can as soon as possible. So just a disclaimer to Owen, just to try and kind of rein me back in. Just wanted to let you know that.
All right.
I appreciate that.
I appreciate the disclaimer. If you haven't heard enough, I think tonight's going to be a good one. We have some big news. Before we jump into the big news, as we have in the past couple of episodes, I think we should jump in a little bit into AFCON. We're going to go right to our AFCON savant, Neil Capucciwali. Mr. Capucciwali, can you take us through where we are so far in the tournament? I've been keeping up. Are we now in quarterfinals, or are we just at least? Yeah, go. You take us through.
Not yet. Tomorrow is probably the most integral round of 16 matchups yet. Everything else has been super chalk. Literally all of the favorites have basically won, besides maybe Mali over Tunisia, but that one was a toss-up. But tomorrow we have Algeria versus DR Congo.
Okay,
and
that'll
then,
be a good one. Yeah,
that's probably the best game of the round of 16. Like, I think either one could potentially make the semis, maybe even final. That's how good both teams are and have been this tournament. And then on the other side of the bracket, we have Côte d'Ivoire versus Burkina Faso. And that one should be upset alert. Possibility. That's like a classic, like 8 seed in the NCAA March Madness, like an 8 seed beating a 1 seed in like the round of 32, where it's like they've been decent all year, kind of up and down, and like maybe that 4 seed isn't the number 1 overall seed. Sorry, let me get back on track. I was about to break down an 8 versus 1 seed in March Madness. Probably the biggest game so far of the round of 16. People may make a case like, South Africa or Cameroon beating South Africa 2-1. But I think it actually was Mali versus Tunisia. So Mali actually got a red card in the first half, was down 1-0. Looked like it was going to be lights out. Tunisia, like, going to kind of bring it home. They end up getting a goal in the 90th. They got the red card in the 26th minute. Tunisia scores in the 88th minute. And then Mali scores in the 90+6 minute with a pen, and then win on PKs 3-2. So just like Tunisia, like literally had 72% possession, 13 shots on goal. Like, they really dominated the game, especially the second half, and to lose the way they did was just like a classic AFCON game. You also had today Nigeria putting BTA to Mozambique. And then Mohamed Salah scoring an extra time meaningless goal. What have we been saying, Ethan, about Mohamed Salah?
Just meaningless goals.
We have 2 matchups already for the quarterfinal. One is Cameroon Morocco, which should be a good one actually. Morocco is kind of being led right now by their 2 stars, Brian Mbeumo and then Carlos Baleba. And then Morocco, I think, as everybody knows, is the best team on paper and playing, like so far playing wise this tournament. So I think that one should be a good one. And then we also have Mali versus Senegal. So Senegal went down early 1-0 to Sudan, but then scored 3 goals to win the game. So they won 3-1. I don't know. I kind of think Senegal's gonna run roughshod over Mali in this one, but time will tell, I'll say. But yeah, I think we're looking good. We're gonna have a big blowout AFCON final on January 18th. We'll find a place to watch it, eat jollof rice, and have a good time.
That's awesome. Thank you for that, Pucc. A couple of things there. So first off, somehow your pronunciation started perfect and then just continued to get worse with words that you had already said. Tunisia or Tunisia? You said Tunisia 7 times.
Tunisia.
Okay, well now you said you started with Tunisia and then started going into Tunisia.
I told you it's gonna go off the rails quick.
But yeah, I mean, AFCON's definitely been exciting, and I have at this point tied bandanas with Owen, so now I'm just rocking with Congo the rest of the way. My Zambia boys, they let us down, but we're all wearing our blue and red for Congo tomorrow. We ain't fucking with green and white tomorrow. What's wrong with that, Pucc?
No, I was trying to think of their colors.
Yeah,
they
it's like
definitely have blue.
Well, I'm thinking about their flag. It's like a light blue.
Okay.
I don't know what color they actually wear. But yeah, if from my understanding, it's been an exciting tournament. And I also saw like Nigeria had some issues, even though they won 4-0. Like Osimhen got into with Ademola Lookman on the field, some things like that. So
That's just, I'll say that this though. That's just guys trying to get that dog out of each other.
Yeah.
Like if Mbappe and Griezmann were doing that in 2018, people would sit there and they'd be like, "That's great teamwork. That's leadership by Griezmann to try and get that dog out of Mbappe." But when Osimhen does it to Lookman, it's like, oh, bad teammate. With that being said, Lookman has, within the past year or so, had some really blow-up issues with his coach, his other teammates for Atalanta, where you're sitting there and, yeah, like, it was like a whole thing. Basically, he took a really shitty PK, and then the coach took him off, and they kind of had a blow-up on the sideline.
Okay.
But so he's kind of had some of those issues. So there's that. But this Nigeria team, if you ever see videos of them online, it's like they have so much fun together.
Okay.
So I doubt that A, it's that deep, and B, that will like affect them moving forward. Because I do feel like they're kind of a tight knit group.
Bad. Okay. Pucc, real quick here. This is something I saw a little bit on X, the Everything app. Can you tell me a little about Eaton? I think I'm saying this right. Eaton Minutes from Zimbabwe. Oh, I'm so lucky. I'm not a good pronunciation guy. Pucc wrote down on our thing. That's he's okay. He wrote down on our little prep sheet. He wrote, Ethan, ask about Eaton. He wrote,
say it.
Eating my nuts. All right, that's what he wrote on here from Zimbabwe. All right, okay. I was really trying to be.
You felt for that.
I was trying to be a good co-host, and instead, this is what you do to me.
I told you, off the rails and quick.
All right, fuck AFCON. I'm moving on from AFCON. Let's get into. Fuck you, man. That's what you do to me. You know what? I deserve it for making fun of your pronunciation. I didn't even notice that.
Also, how did you get minutes out of that?
That's how you spell minutes without an E. Spell minutes.
I can't.
All right, we're moving on. All right, fuck you, Pucc. The big news that came out this morning is Ruben Amorim has been sacked by Manchester United. He went out fiery Right? Like I think
That
obviously
was awesome.
yeah, I think one way or another, his time at United was always going to be limited here. He's only been or only held the role for about 14 months, but went out in a crazy crash out interview. Blamed the board. He essentially called the board shit. He called himself shit. He called the players shit. He just called everything shit. So he didn't even say sometimes it goes good. Maybe sometimes it go good. He just said everybody is shit. Darren Fletcher's going to take over as the interim. Yeah, I mean, Pooch, give me your thoughts here.
Yeah, I mean, first off, I want to shout out Darren Fletcher and his twins, who are both in the academy. I think one of them played against Newcastle a week ago. They're two highly rated youngsters out of the Man U academy. So shout out to him for possibly getting able to coach his kids. I think as a father,
Oh, that's cool.
that's like the biggest dream ever, is to be a coach for like a massive club, and then be like, I had the opportunity to have my kids play for the club that I played for while I'm managing. That's like a once in a generation type of thing. So respect to him. Um, I honestly think I saw some of the stuff that was coming out basically before the game on Sunday. His like a formation change got leaked or something. I couldn't really keep up with it, but then I read a little bit more. Basically, when he was getting the the job, the like CEO that they brought over from Man City specifically said, I want Amorim going over the technical director's head. The technical director did not want Amorim. So like
Okay.
that's also why like there's been this like kind of disconnect, it feels like, from some of their signings with his system. Like, because the technical director is sitting there and he's like, well, I don't want to get guys for this system. I think we should do like, I think he wants a 4-3-3 system. So it's like he wants a manager and then players that will fit that system instead of a 3-4-3.
Yeah.
But then you have Amarin sitting there and being like, I only want guys that are for the 3-4-3. And I think you've seen it kind of limit them. I think we were discussing it last episode where like a guy like Semenyo would probably fit perfect with this Man U team, but
Yeah.
he's not playing wing back. Like he won't do that. So it's
Right.
like, okay, like he's now gone. And like you miss out on a really good player like that. So I think for both parties, it's probably good to move on. With that being said, though, I find it difficult for them not to at least let him see the season out. I mean, I also think he kind of pulled a more public Maresco where he basically was
Yeah.
like, I don't want this anymore. Like I'm kind of out type of thing. Um, but I mean, they're in like what, fifth place right now, sixth place in the league.
Yeah,
Like
they're
they're
actually doing decent. They've
yeah, they're
also, I think like it was like November to early December, they caught some good form. So
yeah,
I don't know. I thought it
like
was turning around.
I think it was, but like once again, it's like I don't know. Like I know you listed a few names here, like Glasner. That's a guy I know Glasner will probably not like he won't sign the extension with Palace,
Yeah.
but he's also not just he's like a guy that wants to like kind of finish something out. I don't see him, especially with Palace in Europe, I don't see him leaving right now. So I don't think he's going there. Xavi is an interesting one. I think I saw that Xavi has been waiting for a job like Man U to open up.
Yeah,
Um,
he just to go over some of these two, just to chime in here with Glasner. I think I agree with you with Glasner. I just feel like that Crystal Palace job is a little bit. It's tough because obviously United's higher in the table, but it's like, well, what team would you rather play tomorrow? And I'd probably
yeah,
rather play against Man United than Palace, right? Which even though the results maybe don't say the same because Palace has struggled in the past five. Yeah, and the thing is about a guy like Glasner is I don't want him in the winter. I feel like you need him in the summer. You need to like kind of build like get your like pre
this
squad in.
This and real quick, this is what they did literally last year with
Yeah,
Amarin, where it's like
right.
they fired Ten Hag early when they probably should have replaced Ten Hag in the summer because they won an FA Cup. They were like, oh, we're turning things around. They were not. Like, and then you do the same thing this window. And it actually, like, literally, they did it this morning or yesterday morning. So the 5th. So you've already lost 5 out of the 31 days in January. Don't know how many days there are in January, but whatever the number is. So like
What do
at
you want?
this
You're right.
point, like the technical director, just getting guys that you want for a 4-3-3. I think let Darren Fletcher manage for the this my if I was the Glazers, I would literally tell also horrendous name nowadays if you're an owner. Like,
Clearly it's a tough
sorry.
one.
Yeah, no, just like, yeah, whatever. And if I was the owners of Man U, I would sit there and I'd be like, you want to know what? Let the interim manage for January, technical director. While you're also looking for our next manager, get all of the guys that you want to sign for your system. Get whatever guys you think would be perfect for this system, yada yada yada. Do that, and then basically in February, go to a Xavi, go to an
Yeah.
Iriola, a Maresca. Like, those, in my opinion, those would be the top 3 names that I would, if I was Man U, looking at. And I would tell them, like, hey, in the summer, in moving forward, like, you'll have free pick. Like, we're not going to limit you in terms of X, Y, and Z. But from February to May, this is your team. Instead of having, like, and I'm just going to use him as the example because we keep talking about him. Instead of having Xavi come in on the 7th, so tomorrow, for, like,
Yeah.
he's not, but like, if he comes in on the 7th, now he has 20 something days to basically get the idea with the technical director, Wilcox, and like concoct a transfer plan while also meeting the team,
Yeah, you
like
have to
figuring
assess the
out
team
who your
first, if
best
anything.
11 is.
Exactly.
Yeah,
In
like,
the
and all of
academy.
that. Yeah, like, so I just think there's so much for that new manager to sit there and do that it would just be easier for the technical director to do his job and be like,
Yeah.
I'm just going to grab really good players, and when the manager comes in, he can decide. Now, the downside of that is that's literally been the reason why Man U is in the spot they're in, is because they go for name more than they do the fit in
Yep.
the system. Like, I mean,
Yep.
Pogba's an amazing example. One of the best footballers of the last 2 decades.
Yep.
Every single time he put on that Man U uniform, dog shit. Like, and like, it wasn't necessarily his talent that made him dog shit, but
Right.
it was the way that the managers used him made him dog shit.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of what you said there, and I won't beat a dead horse. I think in this case, I don't really think United honestly wanted to fire Amorim at this point. Just doesn't make sense, especially like they're in 6th. They were
Mm-hmm.
having one of their better league seasons of the past, which is sad when it comes to a club like United. But yeah, like Xavi has said in recent interviews, like he is looking to coach again, but he wants a job where he's going to be somewhere for 4 years, and I just don't see Manchester United giving him that. Because like Amorim was supposed to be a project manager too. And like Xavi's not going to go somewhere and get sacked in 12 months. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't need that per se, right?
Well, I don't think Man U's actively out there. Like, a Chelsea is like, yeah, like that's kind of their MO at
Right.
this point. Like, is like, if you don't win us anything or you go against us, you're getting fired. Man U, I don't think they want a project manager, but they also don't want to give time. Like, I also
I see
don't
what you're saying.
think, yeah, I don't think like, if he didn't come out and say all of that this weekend, we'd still be sitting here like Amarin's the head coach of Man U. I
Right.
think
That's
it's
my
just,
point.
yeah,
Yeah.
like,
He I think was more frustrated than the board was. Right.
yeah,
I'm sure they were, but like it's just very clear he's not been happy for a while now. And there's clearly a ton of issues within just Manchester United as an organization, right? Like I think this is almost a situation where it's not even a coach's thing anymore. It's almost like you need to clean house from top to bottom. Right. Like you almost need like
yeah.
new owners. You just need new fresh faces. I don't know.
Well, they technically do have a new owner. They have the guy Sir Jim Rad.
Right, you're right, you're right. They already had that. And you
Yeah,
could even see him though. Like he came in and he started like changing like, I think they started changing some like the stupid shit, like the little things to save money. And it's just like, clearly they probably needed to, but you're also looking at it and you're like, that's probably not the culture change you wanted, right? This is supposed to be a big club, but I don't know. I agree with you. I mean, I would give
I
Fletcher the rest of the
also,
season.
real quick, I saw something. I just want to make sure that this game was this past weekend. No, it wasn't. It must have been from earlier this year. But Sir Jim Radcliffe also owns Nice, and
Okay, I
obviously
didn't know that.
Chelsea owns Strasbourg.
Yeah.
Earlier this year, both sets of fans, when they played each other, were protesting the fact that their owners are a part of this conglomerate where it seems like they spend more time focusing on the English club than their own club.
Right.
So
The French club
that
becomes
was
like the feeder.
interesting to me. Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. And I would say probably more so the Chelsea side of it is more of the feeder than probably when it comes to Nice. Only because Nice has probably been better.
I wouldn't say that. Nice is having an awful season.
Okay, I did not
Nice,
realize that.
I think Nice is like bottom of the Nice is in 14th.
Okay. Yeah. So they're not having a good
And I
run.
mean, I remember Nice of a few years ago where you're sitting there and you're like, this is a
Yeah.
good team.
Well, where
Like,
did Nice finish last season? Because that's maybe why I'm thinking that they had a decent year. I don't follow League One enough to know where they are at the moment.
the
2020, 2024, 2025. They finished.
they're also dead last in Europa League. They have not
Yeah.
even won a game.
Well,
So
Nice
it's
also was
like,
having a lot of issues, right? Like this was the club where obviously the fans, you don't get off the bus. Remember we were talking about this like episode one.
yeah.
So like it's
Oh,
clearly not
okay.
going well.
Okay. I mean, they got your boy Ndombele.
Yeah, I mean Ndombele will forever be a what if baller. Dude was nice.
No, there's no what if. He's dog shit.
Dude, he was a baller in France. I don't care. He just got fat, which is crazy to go to England and get fat when you were living in
Well,
France.
no, I don't.
Dude, that's like moving to fucking Milwaukee. It's easy to get fat because the food's fatty, but it's like I don't know. It's like moving to Cleveland and getting fat. It's like you're not living in like a food hub. They're eating just like fried fish and chips out there, brother. He was living.
Yeah, exactly.
He was living in. Well, no. Here's why I'm not trying to say so much the food is healthy. I'm trying to say more so, like, okay, once you have fish and chips once, it's not like I'm gonna eat fish and chips every fucking day.
But what else do they have?
That's it.
Exactly.
Well, no,
Fried fish and French fries.
Okay. You know what? You got me on this one. Hand up. You win. Anyway, just to go back to some of the Man United candidates. Yeah, I mean, I think if you're United, the first person you're calling is Glasner to see if you can get him in. If you're Glasner, that's a horrible decision. You don't want to do that. Xavi probably should not make a decision until the summer either. Same thing with like Areola, right? Or whatever from
I don't know. Areola is he's because Arsenal played Bournemouth this weekend.
Yeah.
And there's apparently been a lot of talks around Bournemouth maybe getting rid of him, which would be stupid. I don't think they're going to, but it would be stupid of them to. But like if there's that much smoke right now around you getting replaced, like getting canned, and Man U come to you and they're like, hey, like I would take like personally, I'd be like, okay, yeah, like sure, like I get a bigger budget. We saw what I could do with like an actual back line, like last year's back line that he had.
That back line was crazy. I don't know if we talked about it on the pod or if I was just kind of like seeing on social media, but it is crazy. Bournemouth's recruitment, and they never get it. Dean Huijsen is playing at Real Madrid. Kirkies is playing at Liverpool. Who is their other center back? Oh, Senesi, who we're going to talk about a little bit later, is linked right now to Juventus and Barcelona. Zabernay or whatever is playing at PSG. It's
Zabarny.
Zabarny, yeah. Like ridiculous.
And then even this year, like Truffet, who they brought in for Kirkes, is doing a fantastic job.
Which
like, Kepa looked great last year. I know he's backup right now for Arsenal, but that guy probably could have gone back to La Liga and been a starter on like a European club, like if he wanted to. Like it's not like he had a bad year. Like
maybe that is the managerial appointment then. There with Amorim. And you know what's funny is like I feel like in this case United and Spurs were in very similar position. Maybe Spurs made the wrong hire. Maybe Frank should have been left at Brentford, right? And maybe Spurs should have signed Andoni because now Spurs are going to be potentially at the end of the season in the same spot as United where they're looking for a manager, they're looking for a project manager. And like, you know, you start getting down to, we talked about like you want someone who's probably prem proven that can win in the Premier League, right? That's your bread and butter. You need to place in the European spots. The European stuff, like, don't get me wrong, you want to be successful in Europe, but it's okay for me if I get a project manager for 2 to 3 years. We are like building a project and we're getting better in Europe. But like you need to.
That's what Arsenal did, like with Arteta. Right. Everybody was clowning Arsenal for the first couple of years because like they're not getting Champions League, no trophies, all of that. Like now I get it. Like you could clown us for the past 2-3 years for not getting trophies, but when we're rocking up to the Etihad with like our striking pair of Lacazette, who's playing on the right wing, and Aubameyang up top, who just got back. Obama what?
Obama Blood
Yang. But yeah, like that team should have been like nowhere near. But like we were developing younger players. We were getting in guys from around the league, like who were prem proven, like a Ben White, like a Cedric, who like not great, but like a Cedric's a guy who like has Premier League experience, like will fill in at right back or left back when needed to, and put in a shift. Like that's what
Yeah.
some of these teams are just trying to like kind of beat the system by being like, let's
Yeah.
just sign world beaters. Let's just sign world beaters. And it doesn't work. Like one move that and I know they made it before Frank got there, but like you're seeing it come to fruition now. It's Jed Spence, where you're
Yeah.
like Jed
Terrific.
Spence week in, week out, puts in great performances. But
Yep.
like it's not like he was the player he is now 4 or 5 years ago when they signed him. Like
No, not
he
at all.
kind of needed to work his way. Like sometimes you just need to be like, all right, like granted, we might finish like 8th or ninth. We may end up getting like conference league. But you know what? We got a good, solid young core. I don't think Man U's a bad team. Like I think they have a good core of guys. I think they're just certain players that like you need to move on from, like a Casemiro and a Guarte. Like some of these players, it's just like, why are they Luke
It's
Shaw,
crazy too.
who I think it's the funniest
I was
thing how Luke Shaw has survived like 8 different managers, and every single manager, first thing
yeah.
it says is,
He's a
we
cockroach.
got to get Luke Shaw out. It's time for him to go. And then by the end, they're like, fuck it, put Shaw in
Yeah.
there. He's going to save my ass.
There's just players that are reliable and know what they're doing. But yeah, I
Yeah.
don't want to get too deep into United here and spend the whole episode. Which honestly, fair enough. For those United fans listening, we barely talk about United, so I think it's fun. A couple of cheeky shouts, I would say, for just maybe a long-term manager. Say they do want to appoint their manager soon, right? Maybe they recognize Fletcher is really not the guy you want to take through the season. They're in the European spots. Like, I want someone in. Kieran McKenna from Ipswich. I know when he came up to the Prem, they didn't do well, but he cut his teeth at Old Trafford. He spent a lot of his time as an assistant, and I know that they still see him as a high. Before they appointed Amorim, he was highly linked to the role too. So in Ipswich, it's not like you have a big budget, right? Like they kind of came up, they struggled and went down, but fair enough. Gareth Southgate, maybe someone to consider, somebody, and this is going back a little bit to your point, right? Just when we talk about players, certain players, like you're not the guy that's going to win me the Champions League, but you're the guy that's going to get me consistent and solid in Europe, right? And maybe you're the manager that's going to keep me afloat and just keep me playing regularly at a solid level. And then maybe it's the next manager who's going to come in and take us to the next level. So I don't know. I'm not advocating for Gareth Southgate. I'm just more so saying like maybe we've thrown his name out a couple of times. I wonder if this is the club job where he could come in, stabilize things, and then it's like, all right, it's time to upgrade. And then maybe there's better options, but it's also a better job then. You kind of always have to get it up to that level, and unfortunate for Southgate. But, I think he would take a chance to kind of redeem himself. He didn't do a great job at Middlesbrough when he was the gaffer there.
Yeah, I think both guys that you just mentioned, and I know we want to get off them. McKenna, to me, it's like, I agree with everything you said, but I also think like he's not coached a club in the Prem that's stayed up more than a year. Like that's been in more than a year. And I get it, like the whole budget thing.
Mm-hmm.
I need to see him keep a team up in the Prem or go to a team in the Prem and have 1 year where they do decent, like for a Prem, like middle table side.
Yeah.
Like, and then Southgate, I think I was like a few weeks ago when we discussed Southgate, I was high on him then. I'm still high on him now. But I also think if I'm him, like I would think about one of these mid-table teams that like, because if he doesn't get this job on this Man U job on the go round, I'm sure he's going to be looking for it. I'm sure they're going to interview him. I know Sir Jim Radcliffe loves him, so I'm sure he'll get like an interview. But if he doesn't get it, if I was him, I'd go to one of these mid-table clubs that is going to fire their manager and spend a year or two there to show people that like, hey, I can do it in the Prem. So I don't know if they'd go to him right now, but I do think all of it's very interesting, the whole coaching carousel.
Yeah, mid-year is just never good to hire somebody. There's the rare times you have like a perfect candidate just sitting, waiting, and this is just not one of those times, right? So we'll see what happens in the summer. We'll and you'll see what jobs are as the year goes on. We'll see what jobs open too, right? Like the Spurs job may open in the summer too, where now United are maybe facing more competition for like a Xavi if that's their decision, right? So those are things also to consider. Is right now you kind of have like first dibs, at who's available. Whatever. We'll see how that plays out. It definitely sucks, especially with a big January here in front of them. And they have a really unique system under Amorim, right? With what we talked about with like, they were kind of signing players for the system, and now you have to almost bring Fletcher in, who I'm sure is going to play something relatively similar to just kind of keep things somewhat in order. But like, I don't know. It's just weird. Like Cunha can't play as a touchline winger in a 4-3-3, right?
No.
And Buemo can't do that either, really. Like, those aren't. So it's almost like now you get stuck in a spot where it's like, well, should I just do exactly what Amorim was doing? But we'll end up seeing what they do. Yeah, so that was our take on, or at least our reactionary take to Man United. And I think more will come out as the time goes, the weeks come, and we kind of get a vision. But some other quick news, obviously Chelsea had sacked, or I guess Maresca left. I don't want to say sacked because that paints the wrong picture of Maresca. And they just went right to the Strasbourg manager, Liam Rosendor, who used to play for Brighton, who they've for a while held in high regard. It always kind of seemed like he was going to be the next man up at Chelsea, barring, something happening. And so they've appointed him. We'll see what he's able to do. I don't really expect anything too crazy, honestly, out of Chelsea. I kind of expect them to continue playing decent ball, and him probably just to stay status quo, at least until the summer. I don't really know much about him, transparently. And I probably should have done a little research. Pucc, is there anything that we should know about Liam Rosendor, or?
He's a nerd.
All right. I mean, that's fair.
He looks like
Uh,
he looks too nerdy to be a footy coach.
okay.
And
Yeah, I kind of get what you're
I don't
saying
like
there.
that. I don't
He
like
looks.
that immediately off the top. I think I would
Okay.
rather have a Sam Allardyce looking manager than this guy. Maybe he's
Okay.
a good soccer brain, but in my opinion, footy coaches either need to be big bastards, like fat bastards, or like the most devilishly handsome European men you've ever seen. Like there's no in between.
Okay.
And this guy
Okay.
just
I see
looks
that. I
like
respect that.
he's not A, not fat enough, and B, not good looking enough to be a manager.
What is Hansi Flick? Where does he lie
Hansi Flick
within
Hansi
that?
Flick is a European like dreamboat.
Okay. Okay. I see.
Give me another one.
All
Like
right. Pep.
Pep is, I mean, as years have gone on, he's sort of turning into a fat bastard, but like he's realistically like
Fat
a
bald
European
bastard.
handsome guy.
He is. He is. If he had more hair, he'd probably be a little bit more handsome. Let me think. The more you say it, you really are accurate. Every time I'm like, oh, that guy's not fat. He's pretty handsome. And if he isn't handsome, he is fat. All right. I think Pucc may have cracked it. So, all right. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how Chelsea do. I'm excited to see just what he's able to do with them and where they go, and hopefully they just continue to flop and whatever. Carl Leonard was just kind of in the headlines. So he's at a fan thing. Those who don't know Carl Leonard, he's the young promising attacker for Bayern Munich. He's been really, really good this season. He's at some type of fan event, and as he's talking about his future, he just tells like the fans, he's like, "Oh yeah, my dream one day is to play for Real Madrid." And it just felt very confusing. Yeah, very confusing from him there. But at the same time, it seems like Bayern fans aren't overreacting. But then a lot of people, Bayern fans, were like, the ones that did overreact were like, all right, we got to stop supporting Carl Leonard. It's time for us to support Wisdom Mike. Turns out Wisdom Mike on his TikTok has just been reposting Barca like highlight reels and edits and you know what I mean? All that. So Bayern's mudded right now. Sorry, Brett. Their players, I mean, Jamal Musiala, I think, not Musiala, I'm sorry. Maybe he was twerking for another team. I guess Florian Wirtz isn't a Bayern Munich guy, but he always said he wants to play for Barca at some point. These Germans, man, they just love La Liga. That's it. They just love Spanish footy. And I guess maybe Spanish women. I don't know.
I mean,
that was
I think the biggest
yeah.
issue on that is just Munich's a dead club at this point.
Well, the league, like, I kind of get it though too. Like, even what do you have? You have 2 to 3 big games a year there,
Yeah,
right? If you're
like,
buying, you
it's-
play what, Dortmund, and then you play whoever, maybe Leipzig or something. But then even like in La Liga, right? Like at least this way, if you're playing for Barca, you obviously, if you're playing for Barca Madrid, right? You have the Clásico, you play Atleti, and then there are usually, Sevilla, Valencia, Bilbao. You do have a couple of big teams too. So I could kind of see that too. Some of these guys just being like, yeah, this gets boring. We just win the league, and then we get a couple big games a year. Whatever. Another big sacking. Very quickly, Celtic have sacked Wilfred Nancy, the former Columbus Crew. I think he was appointed like on one of the first episodes we'd started here, right? And so we talked about that. I said I was excited to see what he does. He's already been sacked. It just apparently did not work. He was a little bit out of his depth. I think he just also from day one just never really had the fans and like the board a little bit. And I think it went off the rails. They've appointed former boss Martin O'Neill, who I saw a lot of fans were very excited about. I don't know much about him either, but I don't know, Pucc, am I missing any news there? I think that was kind of the big one. Obviously, the Amorim news has been taking all the headlines outside of some of the transfer stuff we will jump into in just a second here.
Nope, you're all good. Let's hit the transfer portal.
Yes, sir. So we are going to enter the transfer portal now. The window is officially open, and I think it technically was open last episode, but I think now we're starting to see some moves kind of come to fruition. The big news today, I guess at this point would be yesterday, is João Cancelo officially going to Barca on a short-term loan there. Barca is going to be using 80% of Christensen's wages. It's special rule in La Liga that if someone's hurt, you're able to use. I talked about it with Ter Stegen, and on top of it, I think he was able to reduce his wages. I don't really know why Al Hilal is just giving him away for nothing, essentially, but it seems there's an agreement in place. It seems he's super excited, and I'm very excited about this. A lot of Barca fans think it's like a shit move. I like it because right now, Barca at right back literally is just Jules Koundé or Eric Garcia. Lamine Yamal, and I talked about this when they played Chelsea, a big issue you have is you have no other threat on the right wing. So Lamine gets forced out wide, and now he's one-on-one with the left back, and they're able to double him like crazy. What this will do is you now have a fullback that can truly overlap on that right side, and now Lamine can move inside. They could switch. João Cancelo can kind of make more inverted runs. He also could cover at left back. He's done a job there. So I actually think this is a really, really big signing for Barca. I think it's cheap. It's perfect. 6 months, nothing crazy. We talked about Hector Fort on the last episode, and I don't want to block his pathway next year into the team, and I think maybe we sign Cancelo full time again, but for just a 6 month, and for Cancelo, you get back in Europe before World Cup. I'm sure he'll be a big part of the Portugal team, or at least in the rotation. Yeah, and the other thing is it allows Jules Koundé to play center back, which when we signed him from Sevilla, we signed him as a center back. He was the best center back in La Liga at that time. He ended up doing a job, and he's become, in my opinion, a top 3, maybe top 5 best right back in Europe. So it allows him to play a little bit more inside, and I'd still like to see us make a signing at center back just to kind of cover our bases, but this was an interesting way for them to go about it, and I think it was a good market opportunity. So, Pucc, I mean, as a Cuyed, right, as a Barca fan, I mean, thoughts on this signing?
I enjoy Cancelo. I don't think he's a long-term solution, mainly because I do think everywhere he goes, maybe there's some issues in the locker room with him, so you don't want that infecting the younger players. But for a season, for the rest of the season, great move. Al Hilal will get their get back at some point with a Barca player. Don't know
Yeah.
who, but you have to know that if they're giving him up and keeping 80% of those wages, they're going to
Yeah.
want something in return, especially when the alternative was Inter, who is willing to give up one of their starting center backs for him.
Yeah,
They're going to
they got to
want
be pissed about
something.
that.
Yeah, they're going to want something in the summer or later on. So
Hey, I'll
I don't
maintain.
know who, but for right now, as a courier, we just
Ooh,
enjoy. We just
you didn't fuck
enjoy.
up that pronunciation. Yeah, we just enjoy. We salir y disfrutar, right? That's what Johan Cruyff said. Go out there and enjoy, right? Hands up. We're sitting back here. Yeah, I think it's a good signing. It seems like Cancelo, the players love him. I think the big issue when it comes to Cancelo is he's like a Jeremy Frimpong, just no defense, right?
Yeah.
And that's the concern Barca fans had is when he used to play for us, he just will not defend. Terrific output going forward, can't beat that. And I think it's just one of those things where, again, I don't think he's a long-term option, right? I think one way or another, Jules Koundé is your starting right back. He is too good to not be. But I think this has just opened up a little bit and made given us some flexibility, which is good. And for what the deal is, I don't understand why Barca fans, a lot of them are upset about it. It's just annoying. Sometimes it's just they want to complain because we didn't sign Bastoni or Schlotterbeck. It's that doesn't make sense. Some big news also that's come out. So Mark Gahey, who's obviously linked to pretty much every big club in Europe this summer, right? He's linked to, at this point, Barca have fallen out, but I think, the big ones were obviously Liverpool, Bayern Munich, Man City. I even think Real Madrid may have poked around a bit, but it looks like now that City, Gvardiol is, I think, broke his leg. I think they said he broke his tibia. They're a little bit short at center back with Stones out. And it looks like instead of waiting for the summer, instead of trying to pull some weight then, they're just going to try and make a move, and we'll see where this goes, but I actually like that move for City. I think Gahey is really, really a top center back. His ball playing, leadership, prem proven. You're getting him on a discount, one way or
Are you
another.
though? Are you?
35 mil for Mark Gahey.
Is that the number that was quoted today?
I believe so. Am I wrong about that? Was it different?
I feel like I'd be shocked if Crystal Palace, because Crystal Palace, even in the in the summer was adamant that they wanted him to stay because they basically have no support at the center
Yeah.
back position. So even though he's on 6 months, I'd be shocked if it was anything less than 50. Then again, I haven't seen the reports today on the number quoted. So if it's 35, cool. But I don't know why like just from what I know on Palace, I feel like that would be like a 50 mil type of thing for City to do.
Well, here's the thing, and I hear what you're saying. I think the thing is Liverpool, right? And this is where the 35, it's 35 million pounds, by the way. That should have not euros, because that is probably closer to 40-ish, maybe, you know what I mean, when it comes to
Yeah.
euros. On September 1st, when Liverpool agreed to sign Mark Gahey from Crystal Palace, it obviously ended up falling through at the last minute. That was 35 million pounds.
Okay.
That was, they're going to
I
lose
don't
him for free.
maybe I'm just overestimating his worth. Like I'm maybe not his worth,
I think,
but like
no, I
how
know what you mean.
much like Palace would be willing to, or I don't know, even with 6 months, the way that Palace publicly have been talking with Gahey,
Yeah.
like it just seems like they're like, we would rather have him go on a free than
Yeah.
not have him finish the year with us.
Yeah, I hear
So
that.
like
If
I don't
I'm
to be fair, I
Mhm.
do think he ends up going to City.
Yeah.
I think Liverpool, and this I don't know if this is a hot take or not, but I think Liverpool get Upamecano.
Ooh, but in the
Because
summer
I
is what
know
you're saying?
Bayern, huh?
In the summer is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Not this window. Understood, yeah.
Yeah, no, because I know that and it would make sense because he plays with Konate on the French national team.
Yeah, well, Konate
I
might not
think
be there.
But I think they'll figure out a way to basically be like, all right, Konate's staying. We're gonna pair him with Upamecano. Those are gonna be our three center backs moving forward with Van Dijk still there. We'll kind of transition Van Dijk out, and then Konate and Upamecano are our two center backs of the future.
Okay.
Because I saw today actually that Munich are aware of the interest, not from Liverpool, just in general,
Yeah,
from of Upamecano, and they're trying to
they're trying to
tie him
finalize
down
the
to a
deal.
new
Yeah,
contract.
I'm seeing that
Um,
too, and that I'm seeing it on both sides, Liverpool and Munich. So okay, yeah. I mean, here's the thing with Mark Gahey. I think don't get me wrong. If it's more than that, I can understand it, but I could also see it just being Crystal Palace doesn't seem like a club that has a lot of issues. The Brendan Johnson deal with Palace went very smooth. Right, like very smoothly. It just was announced like Crystal Palace is interested in Brendan Johnson. A fee of 35 million pounds has been agreed. Boom, you know, and it was kind of like it's up to the player. The player made the decision. He moved. There was no like, oh, Crystal Palace wanted him for less, and I don't know what happened behind the scenes, obviously. But usually, when there is a negotiation, it's a negotiation. Like you hear every number. So I really wouldn't be surprised if Gahey. I think it would be Gahey would have to go to them and say, I would like to make the move right now. You know, everything has been agreed. I don't think they're going to stand in his way. I don't think they're
no,
going to let him go for cheap. But if City come and say we'll give you 40 including add-ons, I think they just shake their hands and they go, you know what? We got 6 extra months out of a guy we weren't supposed to. We're actually making a profit. We just paid for Brendan Johnson essentially, right? We just got our money back, and now we could go and reinvest it. It's one of those things. I think it comes down to the player and what he wants. He's going to be starting week in and week out at Palace, right, before the World Cup versus at City rotating. That is a factor to take into account when he could just leave in 6 months. Like, he owes nothing to City. City want him right now, but that doesn't mean he wants to move right now, right? So we'll see. I mean, I think it seemed like Liverpool was the club that was going to get him. We'll see. We will, but it'll be interesting to see where he ends up. Part of the Cancelo to Barcelona, supposedly Lewandowski, Al Hilal asked Barca for Lewandowski, that they would like to sign him now. Whether Lewa makes a move to Saudi ever, I'm not so sure about. Doesn't really feel like that's in his blood. But at the same time, like 2 years in Saudi making a fucking bag before you just retire and piss off, like why not? I don't know if that. I don't think it would make sense for Barca right now, just because that means at striker would be left with just Ferran Torres. It just doesn't seem realistic, right? We'd have to go outside a striker, which is fine, but
on the flip side, when you get that boss call calling in that favor that they gave you for Cancelo, when that boss call comes in, sometimes you just got to accept it.
I mean, at the end of the day, I'm willing to accept it right now to make something because he's a free agent in the summer. So like, I'm willing to just take it. You just get Fedon in, or Fedon gets to start because he's been in terrific form. And then maybe you just sign like a striker. There's Ete Young who's actually playing at AFCON, but he's from
And
Levante.
there's one guy for another Saudi Arabian club that's looking to move back to Europe. That's a striker.
I do not want Darwin Nunez. Thank you very
Nope,
much.
nope, nope.
Oh,
Ivan Toney, even better.
maybe for Arsenal. Let's rip through the rest of these. Bento, who is a 24-year-old Brazilian goalkeeper, he's kind of promising. He's linked to West Ham, which I think would be decent business for them. Good signing. Chiesa back to
What's his
Juventus,
best attribute as a goalie?
saving the ball.
Okay,
Yeah, preventing goals.
you know a lot of
Um,
Bento.
I some would say I'm a bento box. Um, no, no one else thought that was funny. All right, oh, great. You have a lot of jokes over there, huh? Yeah. Owen just sits here quietly and judges us the entire time. It's like a live audience. Chiesa potentially back to Juventus, which is just so Juventus. Like they sell a player and then they're like, wait, actually, maybe we want him back. And it's just like, fuck you guys. Like, why'd you sell him in the first place? Um, Livermento to Arsenal. I didn't see much of this, Pooch, but I'm going to let you talk about this. I'm assuming there's been some links there.
Literally just one guy on Twitter. Don't know if he's an actual journalist or not, but I saw it and I was like, this would be an awesome move for Arsenal. Don't know if it will even happen. Don't know if it's an actual link or not, but I saw all the big Arsenal accounts reposting another one of his things from earlier today, basically saying Arsenal want to extend Havertz for an extra year. So then I clicked on his profile and the first thing that popped up was Arsenal monitoring and inquiring about Livermento. And I thought about it and it made sense because Newcastle suck. He's trying to get into the England squad. Don't
Right.
think it would come to fruition in January, but I could see it in the summer if he's sitting there and he's like, man, I don't get the respect I deserve on the national team level. Maybe I have to move to a bigger club. He wanted to move to City in the summer. It feels like maybe that boat has passed because they got it at Nori, even though I think at Nori's a left back.
Yeah.
But Mateus Nunes has been doing a really good job at right back. So maybe that boat has passed, but I know Arsenal kind of need that timber backup with Ben White kind of being so injury prone, and I wouldn't be shocked if a mid-table club goes in for Ben White in the summer and Arsenal are looking for a backup at right back. So to me it makes sense. Don't know how accurate of a report it is, but I wanted to add it.
All right, fair enough. Well, Mateus Nunes, one of just the weirdest transfers of all time. Like, dude was not that good at Wolves, and Man City signed him. And then I don't know if you remember, Pep literally, like, in an interview said something like, "This is one of the best players in the world." And then, like, in the
Yeah.
next interview, he was like, "Yeah, okay." I was like, I over exaggerate. He's not one of the best in the world, but it just felt very like, yeah, all right. He seems like a good player. Sign him. And then they just didn't play him for like a year, and then they're like, "Congratulations, you're right back now." Fair enough to him. He's found a spot in one of the best squads in the world. I mean, can't knock that, but it's just funny how that kind of like all panned out. And then I put one here, kind of similar to Pooch's. There's been some links with Vinicius Jr. not wanting to renew or maybe wanting to renew, going back and forth here with Real Madrid. Supposedly he's been offered to Chelsea. This would be the biggest Chelsea signing I've ever seen. Like just such a classic Chelsea move, I feel like, because I don't know where else Vinny would go, right? Like for the amount you have to pay, the fact that he's kind of a dickhead, like who's signing him?
Saudi.
Right. He'd have to go to Saudi, right? Or Chelsea, which I would actually kind of love it because I hate him so much that it would just like make me like, you know what I mean? Just moving between two clubs I hate, it would just like really make him probably my most hated player of all time.
Plus he fits in with all of the other Chelsea wingers.
Ooh.
Uber overrated.
Yeah, like a Stinko.
Yeah, Estinco, have
Pedro Shito,
Pedro Shito, have Alejandro
Garfacha.
Nacho. Who else? Who else do they have? Amy Bowen Gittins, no slander name. That's it.
Yeah.
It's just his normal name is slander enough. Mihailo Mudshit.
Oh yeah, Mooch. I forgot. Yeah.
Who else? They have like a million wingers.
I mean, yeah. You want me to name every winger? I don't know. Fuck, I think we named most of them there. No.
My mate Carl from down the pub. I think he got signed to Chelsea when he was 15.
Going just back to it. Vinicius to Chelsea would be a very just Chelsea move and also Vinicius move. Just something interesting to monitor as well, as they're probably one of the only teams in Europe that even consider it. I think it's time for us to move into our next segment here. I don't really have a name for this. Me and Pooch, I was trying to think of something fun for us to do with some transfers. We've talked about a couple, but like a way to make it a game. So Pooch and I will be building an 11 of players that we think it's kind of a combination of players we think are on the move, right? We're trying to keep it realistic. And then on top of that, we have also went through and out of the 11, we have found based on the big six in Europe, big six in England, some of the other big teams, we have found a big hole that they're targeting this January that we think they should be targeting, and we will be fitting them. So, for instance, the way that this team is going to be built out is we'll be finding a goalkeeper for Bayern. We'll both of us have our own criteria for that. A Spurs left back, Barca left center back, Liverpool right center back, Manchester City right back, Real Madrid defensive mid, Manchester United center mid like an 8, Newcastle cam. Juventus is interested in a winger. I put them as a left wing, but I guess it could go left or right wing. Doesn't really matter. Roma is looking for a striker, and then Chelsea's looking for a right winger. It looks like Chelsea is looking in the market for a winger as well. So I think we could kind of flip around Chelsea and Juventus if you want. I'm not going to be too picky there. But yeah, we're going to go back and forth, I guess, and kind of list our options here. Pooch, you want to rock, paper, scissors, shoot it? Does it even matter?
You could start.
All right, let's start in the back. Let's start with the goalkeeper. I thought when it comes here to goalkeeper, not too many teams are looking goalkeeper. I know we spoke about West Ham, but like West Ham's not as fun an option. I think if we are being realistic here, a player that maybe Bayern should be looking at this summer, or excuse me, this winter, as Neuer is now approaching 40 and not sure what his future is going to hold. I put down Mike Maignan from AC Milan. His contract's running out. It doesn't seem like he wants to re-sign. Really top keeper. I know Chelsea was super interested in him as well. And I know they're probably still lurking around that deal, but it just feels like how many goalkeepers do they need? So I thought this might be a good fit for Bayern. Good player for Bayern and as a succession player to Neuer and a market opportunity at 25 mil. So that was one option there. Pooch, what did you have there for goalkeeper?
I had Mio Backhaus.
Hell is
He's
that?
the Werder Bremen keeper. He's 21. He has the second highest rating for the Bundesliga in terms of goalies on FootMob this year. And then on top of that, I believe that Neuer came from Werder Bremen before Munich.
No.
No?
Schalke.
Okay, let me look up the Schalke keeper. Now, I still think it's this guy. He's a German international. I think he's been doing a good job in the league this year. He's a pretty big high claims guy. He's big. He's a kind of bigger sweeper keeper, but I think all German goalies are like that at this point. But I think this would be a good pickup. I believe Werder Bremen are kind of a mid-table side this year. Let me just look that up just so I'm correct. Yeah, they're 10th in the league. So like they're not I doubt they go down without him. Obviously they're going to have a worse off season, but I could see them signing him a loan obligation to buy at the end of the year.
Totally. I think another player too, just and this is probably where it gets a little unrealistic, only because Bayern right now have Jonas Urbig on loan right now. Young German goalkeeper from their academy. So it kind of feels like that's someone that would that's probably the succession plan more than anything. The other guy, obviously, and it's kind of fucked up because they just do this to everybody, but just taking Gregor Kobel from Dortmund,
back.
Who's been terrific. He's absolutely terrific. But all right, so Pucc has the Werder Bremen goalie. I forget what his name is already, but I have Mike Maignan there
Mio
at
Backhaus.
goalkeeper. All right, let's move. Mio Backhaus. All right, one to watch. Spurs left back. So Spurs, for those that don't know, Spurs have been linked with wingers, but really right now at like that left back and left center back, the only options we have are Mickey, and I'm saying true options, not the way that we play Jed Spence at left back, are Mickey Van de Ven, Destiny Udogie, who's hurt, and then Ben Davies. After that, you're going now to Jed Spence. You're kind of trying to rotate other center backs and things of that nature. So for that reason, Spurs, I think one of their big targets here is like a left back who could also play a little left center back. Pooch, I went first last time. You want to go first this time, or you want me to rip it again?
You added in a wrinkle at the end there. I had one lined up, and then you said could also play left center back. Screwed up who I was gonna say, but I'm still gonna say it
necessity.
Anyway.
That's not
Alphonso Davies.
Yeah, that's not a necessity.
And I know what you're thinking. Like, oh, Alphonso Davies. He's never gonna. Why would he leave there? I don't think Bayern necessarily. I know they've been waiting on him to come back. I don't necessarily think they need him. I think they have a good enough team without him, like roster without him. And then B, like, he's coming back from injury. Put him out on loan to Spurs. Like, let him get some time. Like, I don't know. I think it would be an interesting one. I have like 10% faith that that's going to even happen, but sometimes it's 10% faith and it happened. Like, I don't know. I
90.
like Alphonso Davies. I think that would be a good pickup.
All right, I don't hate that. Spurs did like so. The realistic option is Spurs. I guess there's a left back in Brazil named Souza, but spelled with a Z at the end, so not like our MLS savant. Apparently had a bid rejected there, so maybe they'll probably go back for him. But someone that I thought was a really reasonable option and someone that I'm kind of a fan of is also Nathan Ake. It looks like Man City, which is odd because they're like having a center back issue. Plays left back, plays left center back. At the end of the day, this is not someone you need to start week in, week out. Because you do have Mickey Van de Ven. When Ndogi's healthy, you have him. I think we're just looking for someone to kind of right the ship a little bit, give you a little bit of support, and it could just be a loan. So I think that could be a nice option, a realistic option. Looks like he's going to move this summer, or excuse me, this winter. So we'll see what happens there. Pucc has Alphonso Davies, and I have Nathan Ake. All right, let's move over now. The big hole right now for Barcelona. We talked about him a little bit earlier with João Cancelo coming in, but the real big hole that we have is the left center back position. I will start. And of course, the big links right now are Schlotterbeck, Sandro Bastoni in the summer. The sensible option, I think, here for Barca is actually Marcos Senesi from Bournemouth. He's out of contract in the summer. A lot of big teams have been lurking around. I know Juventus has also been sniffing around. For 20 or 30 million, he is a reliable center back at 28 years old, good on the ball, just solid defensively, and is looking to make it into that Argentina World Cup team. And I think for Barca, it's kind of a win-win, right? He could come in, rotate, play, do the job, but you're also not spending a huge bag on him. I'm sure his wages at Bournemouth are extremely reasonable. It'd be kind of an upgrade there for Barca. The other option I had, a cheap option, was Mika Marmal from Las Palmas. La Masia, I've talked about him, I think, before on the pod, so I won't kill it, but La Masia kid, plays left center back. He's also played a lot of left back, so he'd kind of help on that side of the field. And the only knock on him is he's like 5'11". He's probably a little bit better as a left back profile. But yeah, my guy right now is Marco Senesi from Bournemouth. Pooch.
I think that, and I don't know how this would work lever wise, but Evan Ndika of Roma. Now, he starts every game for Roma,
Ooh.
and his market value is like 48 mil. So Roma wouldn't
Okay.
give him away easy. But I know this past summer and the summer before, teams have been sniffing around Mancini, and that's basically like a no-go for Roma. Like, he is like kind of that colossus in the back. They picked up Ndika like 2 years ago on a free, so any money they make off of him, they'll be happy with. My thing is, not that he's at AFCON right now, but like when he gets back, like, if Barca's sniffing around, like, would Barca be willing to like let up with money right now, or would it be like a loan with a option to buy in the summer? Either way, I think it could be. I realistically, if it was to happen, it would be like an obligation in the summer to buy him. But I wouldn't be shocked because I think Roma needs some money to pick up a striker or more attacking help, and they're kind of able to withstand without him in the meantime. They have a good enough defense to basically be like, all right, like, we don't need him, but like, we want him. And I think that could kind of let them be like, all right, like, there are a lot of other guys we'd rather not give up. I think we can kind of let go of Ndika. He's a young player too, so I think that could be one for Barca to look for.
Cheeky. I've always been a fan of his. Just a
He's
big
awesome.
center back.
I
has decent
love
pace.
watching him play. Love watching him play.
Yeah, and he's left-footed too, which is always a bonus. You know, Barca could kind of use a left-footed center back. We don't really have that on the team, and it's really such a stupid thing to kind of like think about or want, because it's like, who really cares? But it does open up like a lot of passing angles. That helps. Another guy that I would have loved here, and I think would have been the best fit outside of, again, like the two big options, just Mark Gahey. But it seems like his contract demands are going to be too high. Barca's pretty much fully pulled out of that deal, so that sucks. But he has great passing range. He plays primarily left center back, someone I would have loved. That being said, we are going to move to Liverpool, who are going to need a right center back. Now, Liverpool this summer, we also were talking winger for Liverpool, right? The reason I say that is with the Mohamed Salah situation, we saw they were interested in Semenyo. We weren't really sure what's going to happen there. We ended up going center back because Konate's out on a free this year, right? Maybe. We don't know. And they're pretty thin at center back overall. So I think this might be a position of need. The big name, I think, and the obvious name is Mark Gahey, right? Maybe trying to pip City to the deal. Maybe, honestly, and I know this is one of those stupid things. It's one of those things that you see sometimes pundits talk about, and it's so wrong. It's like, oh, Pep, one of Pep's friends at Palace asked him, "Hey, can you make an offer for Gahey so that way Liverpool comes and makes a bigger offer?" Right? Like, I don't think that's happening, but I could totally see Liverpool going, "We're not going anywhere with Konate at the moment. Let me go and just go and get Gahey now because he was really our favorite option at this point, and just paying the money again if he'll move. Not sure because if he's gonna move to City, why the hell would he not move to Liverpool at this point? He was gonna move in September, right? Like, makes sense. So Mark Gahey would be my one big option there. The other option that I think could be very interesting, and I don't mean to go too, it's just I don't know if Gahey's going to move, is actually Radu Dragusin from Tottenham. Just came back from an ACL injury, supposedly looking to potentially move, maybe even back to Italy. And I think when it comes to Dragusin, he is just a straight up out and out defender. And I think a team like Liverpool, he's just good to have in the squad. So I think that could be a very cheeky option too. Pucc, tell me who you think in your Liverpool right center back.
I think if Slot stays past this summer, you will see Liverpool transition to a 3-4-3, first of all. And with that being said, you need guys that know that system, that are countrymen of Arne Slot. I'm talking Dutchmen, real Dutchmen.
Yeah.
One name that I
Fucking
think
Dutchmen.
for years has gone under the radar in the Prem, and a team that'd be more than willing to sell off this player because they love selling off every player, is Jean-Paul van Heck of Brighton. He's a Dutch defender now getting
Yes.
an opportunity on the
Yes.
Dutch national team. He's market value is about 45 mil. Like, he is a really, really solid defender, and he's great at
Yes.
playing the ball. Like, if they pick him up in January, they can fast track that 3-4-3. Like, and I know without Isak, I don't think it works as well. But like, imagine a back three. Let's say they sign Konate, like they re-sign him, right? You have a back three of Konate, Van Heck, and then Van Dijk in the back. That's your three. You have wing backs of Frimpong and then Kirkes as your wing backs. Your center two of Gravenberch and McAllister, and then your front two of Isak and Ekatike. Like, that's a team that right there is a starting 11 where you sit there and you go, I don't really know weakness in this side. It's what Amorim has wet dreams about, is
Yeah.
that starting 11. Like, so I think, and worst case, if it's a back four, he plays in a back four right now with Brighton. It's not like he's playing in a three back his whole career. Like, to me, it's a cheeky one for Liverpool where it's like, oh, that's a successor to Van Dijk right there. Like, we keep Konate, that's a successor. Oh, we pick up Upamecano, now it's Upamecano and Van Heck for the next 8 years. Like, I don't know. I like that. I would like that move if I was a Liverpool fan.
No, I'm totally with you. I know when they were when Cuti Romero was potentially leaving Spurs in the summer, there was some teams poking around. Invert the wing. All he talked about was Van Heck. So I watched a ton of his film. He's like, Van Heck, it will be the perfect successor, yada yada yada, all that. So I'm actually a fan of his. I think that was a terrific shout. I don't know why it didn't hit my head. I don't know why I didn't really look at Brighton too much.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm giving it. It's a good one. All right. All right. We're gonna move over now to just like whatever. We're gonna move over to right back, and here is an interesting one. So Man City, I don't think they're necessarily in the market for a right back, but we kind of talked about them. Like, who is Manchester City's starting right back? Like, when healthy, when everyone's fit.
Rico Lewis.
That pause, I guess, right? Like, again, someone who's probably more of a DM, right? He's like more of a center mid than he is a right back. So this was one that I thought was interesting for us to take a look at. Now, we talked about him earlier, and I hate that we kind of give things away. My guy would have been Tino Livramento.
Same.
Trying to get in the England squad. I think Mateus. Yeah, you spoke about it earlier, so I don't want to harp on it. But Livramento, my other option, which I thought was interesting if they wanted to maybe loan him in, was Sasha Bowie from Bayern Munich. Looks like he's going to get a move. And I figured maybe for 6 months, just a true right back, nothing special, but playing at a big club, probably looking to get in to regular football. So I thought that was cheeky for Man City to maybe look over there to try and get a fullback. Other than that, I was also thinking Ivan Fresneda from Sporting, Spaniard, left not Vallecano, Valladolid a couple years ago. Big prospect in Spain as a right back, and I thought that was a cheeky option. But Pucc, what do you got there? Man City right back.
So I think I tried to go a little outside the box on this one because I think Livermento is probably the 1-1, as you mentioned. The name I came up with was
Yeah.
Michael Coyote of Brentford. Um, he's an Italian right
Yep.
back, super young. He's kind of burst on the scene this year for not only Brentford, but also Italy, the national team. I think he would be a really good signing for them. He's a really good, like, true defender, decent passer of the ball, but he also does a really good job of throw-ins. If you could have a Semenyo on the left side just throwing the ball into the PK spot, and then on the right side, Coyote throwing the ball to the PK spot, like that right there gives you an
Yep.
advantage above everything as well. So I think that would be a
Yep.
cheeky pickup for them.
Yeah, I like the Coyote shout. I was looking at it. The only reason I didn't go with Coyote is I just felt like for Brentford right now, you're losing. Actually, not losing anyone. Semenyo plays for Bournemouth. Long story short, I just felt like that might be a player there. Might be like, screw it. We're just going to keep him till the end of the season and then cash in
Oh,
on him
I
and make a big bag.
Yeah,
But yeah,
like unless City offer an insane amount of money to Brentford for him, I don't
right.
think he's leaving. But I also wouldn't be shocked if City offer an
Yeah,
insane amount of money for him. Like, because he is a good young talent. I have a
yeah,
feeling Pep kind of wants to, whenever he does dip, wants to, like, he's kind of going through that process right now of reloading the team with younger players. And if you get a back four in 5
yeah,
years, people will be saying, oh my God, look at that back four. You have Eight Nori, Gavardiol, whatever other center back they bring in that's a young guy, and then Coyote. It's like we have one of the best back lines in all of football with like Donnarumma still in net,
yep,
Trafford maybe. Like I don't know. I think that Pep is
yep.
right now short term and long term looking at stuff. Like who can provide me the best short term advantage on this like title run, and then also who will help the club out in the long term.
Yeah, it just makes sense. Like I said, they don't really have like a right back at the club. So,
Mm-mm.
I guess they do, but they don't, and it just feels like a market opportunity, right? For a good player,
Yeah.
proven, something like that, which it's one of those signings where it's not the big, crazy splashing cash, Erling Haaland type of deal, but I do see it as a deal that people down the road are like, God damn, like Coyote's a beast for City. Like Pep has like
It's
found a way to use this right back.
Yeah, it would be
Hmm.
like a Cherokee signing where it's like 35 mil, and then 3 years from now,
Yep.
people are like, how did this guy only go for 35? How did City get him for 35
Yeah.
mil? Like, yeah.
Yeah. 100%. So I like those shouts. So Real Madrid has been poking around looking for a six. The reason for that is Camavinga kind of plays everything but the six. Tuchemeni, I'm going to be honest, I think Tuchemeni leaves in the summer, just has not had the playing time he wants. He was a massive prospect at Monaco, and it just hasn't panned out. I'm actually a fan of his. I think he's a good player. It looks like they've been peeking around. There's been a couple of names they've been linked with. The big one being Adam Wharton. If I'm Real Madrid, I am signing Vinicius and I am signing Adam Wharton. I love Adam Wharton. I think he's a terrific player. I think Xabi Alonso would love Adam Wharton. They feel like very similar players. Deep lying sixes that kind of want to like spray the ball around. And Adam Wharton, I can't think of one off the top of my head, but he feels very much like one of those English players that is like almost like Spanish, if that makes sense. Like he doesn't
Yeah.
pl-
Like
like even
Jude.
Rice, right? No, no. Jude is not Spanish. Jude plays like a Brit. Horrible touch, just whatever. I was honestly going to compliment Rice and say he has it a little bit too, where he's like almost has like the finesse that like a Spaniard has. Now I'm not going to say that Yeah, I'm not saying it anymore. I can't even hear what you're saying. Your connection's on a fucking potato.
No, no,
Um,
no, no, no. I didn't say anything. I mouthed the words vamos like Jude did in the Champions
oh,
League final.
okay. Well,
Or just does every game when he like hits a ball 20 yards into the stands.
yeah. I mean, that guy sucks. Um, Yeah, I think Warren's a terrific player, though. I'm a big fan of his. I think that could be that's an expensive signing. That's probably going to be a close to 100 mil signing because of how important he is to Palace. The other option, and someone who I guess they've been linked with, I don't know how heavily linked with, is this kid Keys Smith. Now I don't know if he's really a 6. He's played some 6 for AZ. I
Who
don't
the
even know how to say
hell
it.
is that?
Yeah, he's like a little bit of a wonder kid who's been absolutely cooking over there. Really talented young midfielder, and Real Madrid have been poking around for him too. Two guys I think can add a little bit. We've spoken a little bit about how Real Madrid, they kind of have options, but they need to get a little bit better technically in the midfield. And I think both of these options give them some technical skill, right? They give them almost like a little bit of like a Pedri type of player in the midfield that they might not have right now. So I like both of that. And it also like it frees up Arda Güler to go forward and stay a little bit higher. It frees Bellingham up to sit on the bench and the team to still be able to play. No one laughed at that. That's
No, I
fucked up.
was chuckling. You were on
Um,
a roll, so I didn't want to stop it, but that was very funny.
um, Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I probably should give like a kind of a cheeky option, but I really think Adam Warren is a top signing and a realistic signing. I don't know if it's realistic for the winter right now, but if they can get that wrapped up, that'd be an awesome signing. I really wanted him at Spurs the past couple of summers. So, what do you think, Pooch?
I'm gonna go with a guy that is in the Prem that has been killing it for his national team recently, and a lot of other big clubs are looking at him. Same price range. I think probably the club would be more than willing to let him go, and that is Carlos Baleba of Brighton. I know Man U
Mm,
want him,
okay.
but with that being said, I think when presented the opportunity, if you're Baleba of um Man United where they currently are versus Real Madrid where they currently are, I go Real Madrid 7 days a week. He's more of, I think, a
But yeah, I'd say
destroyer.
so.
Yeah, like I think he's more of a destroyer than like a ball distributor. So I don't know. I guess it would kind of free up the guys in front of him a bit more, but I just think he's such a good player, and I think he would go to Real Madrid in a heartbeat over basically any other team. Then again, he could be a
Yeah,
Couler like us.
it
So
he could be. He could be. Another guy that I've kind of just remembered as we were talking here, who's been killing it, I think at Lyon. Yeah. Oh no, I'm sorry, at Lille,
Tyler Morton.
is this kid. No, not Tyler Morton. Um, Ayoub Buadi. Are you
Oh
familiar
yeah,
with this guy?
Arsenal.
He's a
Arsenal are linked with him.
yeah, he's a good player. I've seen some highlight comps
Hmm.
of him. He plays this kind of like a 6, really good dribbler. But again, I think he's someone that could kind of do the job we're talking, right? Where he can be like that deep line playmaker. I don't know. Maybe Madrid should be linked with Tonali.
Don't. I was
That's your
gonna
guy.
say Tunali. I was gonna say Tunali, but then I was like, I'm gonna get clowned.
Yeah, we'll see if they end up doing anything there. They just need to sell Vinicius is the big thing they should do this summer. Manchester United, they're like desperate for a center mid. Right now, their midfield is essentially Bruno Fernandes, Casemiro. I'm hoping that we finally see Kobe Mano free again. Now that fucking Amorim is sacked. I don't think and Ugarte, who everyone calls, shit. So I think that's something like regardless, and this goes back to your technical director point from earlier in the show. I think this is something where like you just need to go make a good signing. Now, Carlos Baleba, I think, is the big signing. I think he does bring a little bit of a profile you don't have, which is Casemiro, although in his history as a destroyer, I think he has lost the legs. Baleba
Hmm.
feels almost like a little bit of a Conte regen where destroyer runs all over the park. He's going to put a fucking shift in. We'll see what their future looks like. The other guy that I think is a really cheeky player to be linked with and maybe helps out a little bit in adding some technical ability, Ruben Neves. Ruben Neves is linked with a move back to Europe from Saudi. Prem proven, solid player. And I think he's just, again, one of those guys that maybe he's not the guy that ends up winning Man United the Prem, in 2-3 years. But what he could be is for the next 2-3 years, just being a solid player that they can rely on. And every manager, I mean, this guy before he moved to Saudi was linked heavily to Barcelona. He was linked heavily at that time. I almost want to say Liverpool. Maybe he was United back then too. He was linked heavily with a lot of the big clubs. He's a really top player. And I think for a winter signing, it's good for him and for the club. Gets in before the World Cup, gets to get his legs back at the top level. I don't know. What do you think, your Pooch, Man United center mid?
I think that the two names you mentioned are probably one and two, but the name that I was looking at, like as maybe more of a cheap option, was João Gomez of
Hmm.
Wolves. He's basically the best
Yeah.
player on Wolves by a country mile, and
Yep.
he's technically like a center mid, but he plays kind of like a DM, where
Yeah.
you could kind of get two players in one where you're like, okay, we need you to play the 6. He can play the 6. Hey, we need you to run the 8 today. He can run the 8 today. I think he just adds good legs, and like a move like that is a move that Man City makes, where they sit there and they're like, all right, we're gonna get him from maybe one of the lower teams in the Prem, but he's the best player on that team, like by a big margin. So I think that Wolves know that, hey, we need money. We're going down. Like, we don't have the team to
Yeah.
sustain it. Like, if we can get like 30, 40 mil for him in the winter, perfect for us. We can reinvest that in the championship and bring a team right back up in 1 year. So I think Man U, I think, would be kind of the perfect spot for him to land, because he'd get still a lot of game time with that team and also kind of up the level. Even if he's not playing, let's say a Kobe Manu plays
Yeah.
instead of him, instantly you're like, Kobe's having a bad game, put on Gomez. And you're like, you don't kind of like miss that beat. Like, you can kind of interchange the two of them. I think they're actually probably
I
very
think he's top.
I know maybe some Tactico might tell us online, they're not a similar
Yeah.
player. In my eyes, in these eyes right here, which aren't 2020 vision, they're a very similar player in terms of the style and the way that they play.
Okay, I fuck with that. I like that shout. Another player that I just kind of, again, as we talk, more players hit my head. One of them was Ederson from Atalanta. I don't know if you're familiar with Ederson,
Yeah.
and I may even shout him out as our next player too. Yeah, he's like, I guess for them he plays a little bit more like a 6, but I would say he's like a true like kind of box to box center mid. He's an amazing amazing at winning interceptions at the midfield, really, really good defensive work rate. But every time I've seen a highlight, it's also him like driving the ball forward and helping that Atalanta team attack. I'm a really big fan of his. I wanted him at Tottenham.
Yeah.
This season when we were looking for like a destroyer build, we ended up going Paulinho. No big deal. He was someone I really liked. I could totally see him getting into this Man United midfield, and you could play like a midfield two of like him, and then you could even play. I guess you could play Bruno, but not really, because I don't like having two mids and one of them's Bruno and the other one's him. You could play like him and Kobe Manu, and I think you could run a midfield that way. I think that would be really interesting. But I think they do need to sign a center mid this winter. I think this is something that you will see, is them signing center mid, unless some big revelation. This was probably the hardest position for us to think of. Who needs an attacking midfielder? Obviously, we talked about some teams that need midfielders, talking about attacking midfielders, though, and we both came up with Newcastle here. Now, when it comes to Newcastle, you got to start thinking, all right, who are they going to have pulled to sign? Who are they going to? They have some PSR issues. Who are they actually going to be able to afford? Things like that. The one name that came to me that I remembered again from being linked this summer, Spurs, Damsgaard. I
Damn
think
it.
him being Prem proven. Did I take your guy?
Yeah. When I offered this one, that's the guy I
Yeah.
had in mind. I love Dams. That's who I thought. Damn it.
Yeah, I think he's a terrific player. He has an amazing work rate. He was like the fulcrum for Thomas Frank's team. You know, Pooch, I'm going to give you Damsgaard. My other shout, someone who I love, especially if we're playing a true 4-3-3 and you're looking at someone who wants to be more of an attacking like 8, is Alex Scott from Bournemouth.
Damn it. That was my number 2. Damn. You in my brain?
I love Alex.
You in my brain, bro?
I live in there rent free. I love Alex Scott. I think he's a really good player. I think he's honestly maybe even a better fit for this Newcastle team, because they play a 4-3-3. He'd be an upgrade on Joelinton. Good, but he's like again a box to box. Where Damsgaard I think is a little bit more of a true 10 with a good work rate. Scott is more of a box to box who has good ability going forward.
And
Do you want to
I just
offer
want to
anyone else?
I just want to add one thing to both players that I think would really, really help, is that they set up the press extremely well. If you ever watch a Brentford or Bournemouth game, those two are the ones in the midfield conducting who goes, who stays back, when to go, when not to go. They have such a good IQ for the defensive side in the final third in terms of like defending high up the pitch or like a mid block, that like that would change the lives of Newcastle tremendously, because they have a lot of speedsters up top. Like, they have guys that can run after the ball. They have guys that will run for days. They have a decent enough attacking depth where it's like one guy goes down, you can send somebody right in and it's like not missing a beat. So they have a good 6 guys in the attack. It's like that guy that sets it up. Joelinton, not only does he play like a brick wall, his mind is a brick wall. Like, I feel like there's nothing going on in there. Like, so
I like that.
yeah, like I think either one would be tremendous for them.
100%. Alex Scott, the big thing with Tottenham fans is he is a Tottenham fan. So
Mm.
that's we got double Owen. Um,
I see a
he
Cohen
is a Tottenham.
sandwich right now.
That's
Boo.
great, Pooch. He's a Tottenham fan, so he's someone I followed a lot. But I really like Alex Scott. I think he's just a top, like, kind of prem midfielder. And then Damsgaard, when we brought Frank in, the big thing that they talked about is how important Damsgaard is to Frank's teams. And a big thing was number one, like you said, the press and him kind of being like that guy that kind of goes and wins the ball and kind of initiates that press. And then number two is how deep he drops to receive the
Hmm.
ball, drive the ball forward. You know what I mean? At that point, getting it up to Mbeumo or getting it up to Wisa.
Yeah, I think it's a very Nordic football thing because Odegaard does the same exact thing. Odegaard is also
Yeah,
somebody who drops super deep, especially like right now. Like in the past, it hasn't been an issue, but right now, a lot of Arsenal fans have an issue with it because he drops so deep, but Zubamendi's also deep. So it's like he's taking up, it's like,
yeah,
bro, we don't need you there anymore. We need you in the attack. We need you setting up the attack
right.
more than like helping build it up. So like I think Damsgaard would do wonders for this Newcastle team. With that being said, I don't know how I think they would have to put in a bag for him because he's that important to
Yeah,
Brentford. Like he without
I totally
him,
agree.
yeah, without him, like that Brentford team's probably fighting relegation right now. And it's less about the goal contributions and more of everything else that he does that would make them fight relegation.
100%. I couldn't agree with that more. I think he's one of those players that you don't really see him on a lot of like rankings and lists because he doesn't get crazy assists. He doesn't get, you know what I mean, like nothing like that. Instead, what he does is like that work rate where if you're watching games, you're like, wow, he's actually really good, you know, and he kind of catches your eye a little bit. So I'm glad we are on the same page there. And I think for a team like Newcastle, those are two players that are very realistic to be able to go and sign. They're upgrades for them. You know what I mean? And on top of that, they would both have a
Hmm.
big role in the team. They'd also complement, I think, like Bruno Guimaraes really well and Tonali really well. I think you'd have a really nicely balanced midfield with those three. All right, let's get into the wingers here a little bit. So we have Juventus left wing, Chelsea right wing. Transparently, we could flex it around because Juventus, we obviously talked about earlier, they're linked to Chiesa, right? I think Chiesa is more of a right wing, right, in his time there. So like in that case, but that being said, like when it comes to Juventus more than anything seem to be looking for goals. So when you're looking for goals, you're looking for inverted wingers, right? And I see why that's Chiesa, right? Not to mention Italian. He's obviously played there. He knows. So I think he probably is the best fit. But when I'm thinking of inverted wingers, when I'm thinking of that, one guy they should have probably really been in on was Semenyo. I think he would have probably been a good fit. That being said, he probably didn't want to leave England. He's comfortable. I don't think Juventus wanted to pay that price. Um, Before I jump in deeper, Pooch, let me know who did you have in mind here? I took your last two. I don't want to do that to you again.
No. Take this one. Take this one. All you, big bro.
That means Pooch is not prepared. That means Pooch is not prepared. So someone that is 100% what that means. All right. So if that's the case,
No,
someone that I
really?
think would be cheeky for them to look at, for them to look at as well is Simon. How do you say this? Adingra from Sunderland. He played. Is he not from Sunderland? He's from Sunderland.
No, dog. That's your worst one yet. That's why I did that.
Is this guy not from Sunderland?
No, he
Owen.
is. He is. But
No,
he's
he
the
is. All
worst.
right. I know ball.
That's your worst shout yet.
Okay. Well, I said
He's
Chiesa, but whatever. Fine. You go first then.
he's been dog water at Sunderland this year. Before AFCON, he couldn't
Bro,
even
he
get
just
into the side.
all right. I changed mine then. I changed mine because I panicked. Give me Raheem Sterling.
Yes. Good answer. Good answer.
Yes. Get him off that Chelsea bench. Get Big Heem out there running around. Another horrible shout, but he is an inverted winger, an inside forward kind of build. I don't know. They're in an interesting spot because they have Yildiz, kind of out there
Who's
already on the left. I
so
think
good.
yeah, he may leave, but we'll have to see. Give me your shout then. Give me your shout since you have such a good
Pedro
one.
Goncalves for Sporting.
Yeah,
Um,
fuck, that's a really good shout.
yeah, I mean he's hurt till late January, so I doubt he moves, but it would be such a Juve thing because they have Francisco Conceição right now. So like just another
Yeah,
Portuguese winger adding to that Juventus team. But to me, that would be a great kind of move for them to add him to it.
Yeah, that's a good shout. I hate my life for not going there with it and
I hate
panicking
my
in the big
chungus
moments.
life.
I don't know. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to redeem myself here.
Doing nothing redeem.
Anthony? No, I'm just. Yeah, I think Chiesa. You know who's someone that would be a cheeky option? Brahim Diaz. Because Brahim Diaz is still technically on Madrid. If you could pry him away, he would be a fucking baller. He's been balling at AFCON. Maybe
Brahim
Madrid
Diaz
looks to
is
cash in on him.
Brahim Diaz is going to go to Chelsea. That was my Chelsea winger pick.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's move into Chelsea then. Is that really
Brahim
your
Diaz.
Chelsea guy? Yeah. Do you want to explain him? Being an AFCON guy as you are.
The GOAT AFCON player. He, like you said, he's not getting a ton of time at Real currently. And I think he may be thinking, hey, where can I go? I think it would be a loan move. I don't think it would be an outright signing because he seems like a guy who's been at Real forever. I don't think he wants to leave in the winter. So I could see him basically being
Yeah.
like, hey, I'll take 6 months to kind of play a ton. I'm in a great form right now instead of going back to Real and just loading up FIFA on the bench every week. Let me go get playing time before the World Cup. And I think that would be the best move for him. I could also see him going to PSG, but for this specific thing, I'm picking him to Chelsea.
Okay. Yeah, when it came to Chelsea, I obviously the first person I put down was Vinicius, just being stupid there because potentially, honestly, and I know this sounds a little dumb. It doesn't sound dumb, but one of the big young winger names is Jan Diomande, and it just feels so Chelsea for them to be the ones to sign him. Now I know it looks like he's probably going to move in the summer instead. A lot of big clubs are interested. He's going to be very expensive from Leipzig. This feels like a Chelsea move. You go, you sign the young, super talented player from Leipzig. You spend a lot right now in the winter where no one else is willing to. And, he either hits or he flops, right? That's how ball goes. That was going to be kind of my shout. Now, I just got to think, does Diomande play off the right? Because if not, there's another shout I have. I think he does, right? Also, for those that don't know his story, he actually played in the United States at high school. He was a high school soccer player that is now, playing at AFCON, playing for Leipzig, one of the most talented.
Where'd he go?
It's
Kearney?
really, really. Yeah, he went to school. What is this? Ulay High School in Ulay, Florida. I have no idea how he ended up there. That's freaking awesome. Yan Diomande. Another option I think is a little cheeky here is this guy Minte, from Brighton. It feels like, again,
He's
Brighton's
so
always
good.
willing to sell. Yeah, right winger, inverted with a left foot. The only thing about him is if you're going to sign Minte, it's kind of like you already have people that are project players. I feel like they probably want someone a little bit more established. And the other tough part is I don't know. I should have done research on this. I don't know what Rosenior or whatever, what his system's going to be. So he might be good with just the options they have. Three.
Three in the back.
There's no way it's 3-3.
No, three in the back.
Oh, okay.
I did the Inglorious Bastards thing at the second time because I realized. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I don't know. If we're going wingers, though, I would say Yan Diomande, and then the other one I would say Minte from Brighton because he's pacey and
Yeah.
he's fast and he's good at ball and it feels like a market opportunity. All right, Pucc, your Club Roma. Let's talk striker here. What are you thinking?
I think they're going to go with a guy that probably has been on. This guy is the how can I put this? He's like the Kim Kardashian of Serie A soccer. It feels like he's been on every single club. He's been with every single club. He gets the bag everywhere he goes, and then he breaks up with them. And still gets the bag. Moises Kean, currently playing for
Ooh.
Fiorentina. 5 goals this year. Fiorentina, I think they'll stay up. With that being said, I think if Roma comes in, they tell him we're trying to fight for our lives to get a Champions League spot, potential league. I think he'd rather go there than trying to fight for a club that's trying to stave off relegation. I think it would be a classic Serie A loan, straight loan for 6 months. Not even, you're like sitting there and you're like, why is this guy just on loan for half a season at another Serie A club, like that makes zero sense. That's Serie A for you. I do think that would be a great kind of bagsman
Yeah.
for Roma because he is in decent form, and once again he's fighting for a spot to get on the plane to go to the States for the World Cup if Italy makes it.
Yeah, 100%. I really like that shot. I know he just scored, I think, for Fiorentina this past
Yep.
weekend as well. My shout out for Roma striker. So I think everyone has seen that Xerxes is super, super linked. So I won't be boring and talk about that. Somebody who is not, I won't even do this because it's not realistic. But, another player that I think would just be a sick fit is Samu from Porto. He has, I
Yeah.
think, 49 goals and like 65, but Porto were insisting that he's going to, if you want him in January, he has to go for 100 mil. I know Tottenham and Chelsea are linked. It wouldn't make sense for Roma to drop a bag like that. I
don't
actually
even think
mentioned
they
him a
have the
little bit
money
earlier,
to.
Pooh.
I don't think they have the money to drop
Yeah.
the bag like that.
Yeah, I mean, 100 mil, it's crazy. But somebody who I think could be a very interesting option for them, let me make sure I get his name right here. If not, I'm going to go with somebody else. I have two right now at striker. And as I pull this up, who do you got at striker for Roma?
I mean, Xerxes was the name we said
Yeah.
before.
Wait, Owen actually legitimately said it. He didn't even realize he was linked. It was hilarious. And he just turned around, he's like, Xerxes? And I was like, yeah, he's actually linked. He's like, oh, I didn't know that.
I was actually just trying to say like the most random name that came to mind. And he was like, yeah, that's a good call. I was like, really?
This, I think, is the guy. Now, how realistic this move is, I'm not sure. He plays for, if I'm not mistaken, it's Bournemouth. He plays for Bournemouth. Eli Jr., Eric Anat Krupi.
Yeah, Krupi Jr.
Yeah, I think he could be a cheeky signing for them. He's done really well in Bournemouth this year. He's a cheeky option. I don't know. When I've seen him, he seems to be playing well. He's got some pace. He's got decent dribbling, good finishing. What are your thoughts here, Pucc?
Scored a banger against Arsenal this weekend.
Did he?
Yeah, I think he's a really good player. I just don't see Bournemouth giving up on a player 6 months in. Like realistically, the only way any Serie A team brings in anybody this window is if they're under 15 million or if they're on loan with like an option or obligation to buy that's around 30 or less. And I don't
Yeah.
think Bournemouth would be willing to give him up on loan with how far down in the table they are currently and kind of how good he's been playing.
Yeah.
So while I think that would be a great fit, like you said, like a young winger or young striker, I think the fit makes sense. I don't know if, and it's more on Roma just being poor.
Yeah.
Like, so.
All right. Well, and then the big one that you guys have been linked with is obviously Raspadori.
Yeah.
So
I think that's
that's
why I didn't pick him because I was like, I think he's going to show up anyway, but I wouldn't mind Raspadori and Keane as the striking pair. That would actually be a great striking pair. So
it does sound like that could be a fit. And actually, as I'm just I'm looking up like some of the Roma options just to look at links. AS Roma could sanction swap deal involving Evan Ndika for Joshua Xerxes. So going back to like that Barca thing, it's not really like out of the realm, right? That he maybe leaves.
Yeah, like I told you, like Mancini is the one where they're like, we are not giving Mancini up no matter who. Like Saudi came to them and was like, we want Mancini. And they're like, what about Roger Ibanez? Like, and they took Roger Ibanez instead. And I was like, everybody was like, holy shit, thank God. Like we thought Saudi was just going to take Mancini from under us. But like, I know Mancini's been linked with like Inter, like Juventus in the past, like a bunch of big clubs and Roma are like hands off. So that's why I think they could be like, well, Mancini's not available, but if you want Ndika, like, there you go. So.
Yeah. I also think Ndika probably has like a limited ceiling. Like we're probably at his ceiling and they're probably like, all right, he's good, but he's not like, we're not missing a market opportunity. You could find another Evan Ndika, right? At the end of like, it's not a crazy profile. All right. So that was fun. Any other people we want to shout out here? Any other players you're looking to make a move? Any maybe teams that we didn't mention that you could
shout out my barber, Adion.
What?
He's the GOAT.
Let's see the haircut then.
Nah, I haven't got a cut by him in like a month or two.
Yeah, this episode's off the rails. He got Owen going. All right, with that with that being said, let's move into our weekend recap, and then we'll jump into a midweek preview too. We'll start on the Prem. First things first, we have to talk about the biggest result of the weekend. The biggest thing that happened. Wolves got their first win in the Prem this season. They thrashed West Ham 3-0. I didn't watch the game. I had zero interest in watching this game. But I did see that the fans, what was the chant? The fans were like, "You're going down with West Ham" or something. They were like, they started doing like the self depreciating chants, which I loved. But Pooch, as our Premier League savant, what do we think here?
So lucky for you, I watched all 90 minutes of this game, and I just want to say there have been times in my life where I'm like, man, I just lost like an hour doing this or like 45 minutes doing this. That's 90 minutes of my life that I'll never get back. When I head up to the pearly gates and the big man is sitting there and he goes, "Is there anything that you regret in life?" I'm going to say, January 3rd, I sat there at 10 a.m. and I watched Wolves West Ham for 90 minutes. If you could just give me those 90 minutes back to do something else, I'll do it. I'll I'll clean. Like I'll do the floors. I'll mop. Like I'll do anything besides watch that 90 minutes. It was the way West Ham played, and it's not on Wolves. I think Wolves played fantastic for a team that has 3 points. It's the best performance a
Right.
3-point team I've ever seen. Like it was West Ham where I was like, what the hell is going on here? Like what's up with this team? And like I just want to talk about like their recruitment has been so poor. Do you know the 3 main guys that they spent the Declan Rice money on? Sorry, 4 main guys that they spent 4 guys.
Ooh, I'm gonna start. One of them was a striker.
No, none
Was
of
one
them
of them
were.
Skamaka?
Nope,
No. Okay. Lucas Paqueta.
nope.
Damn, who did they even spend money on? What year? Wait, help me out here. What year was the Rice transfer? Has it been 3 years at Arsenal or
3
longer?
years at Arsenal.
Okay, so 3 years ago. Oh, well, one was probably what's his name, the winger. I
Kudus?
can't think of his name right now. Oh my, no. Oh,
That-
it may have been Kudus actually.
It was
It
Kudus
may
was
have
one
been
of the
Kudus.
4. Kudus was one
No,
of
but
the
who
4.
was the other one that was playing over there? Oh my God, Arsenal kid. Somebody help me out.
So the
Who
4
was the Arsenal wing?
the 4 was Kudus, James Ward-Prowse,
Wow.
Marvin Panos, and
Who?
yeah, exactly. And he starts week in and week out for them. And Edson Alvarez, who's not even on the team anymore.
Wow.
Like that was the 4 guys that they were like, we're gonna go to the top. Like, okay, we got 100 mil for Declan Rice. What's the best usage of this money? Let's sign these 4 guys. That's the best usage of 100 mil. Like it just one of those guys hit and they've already given up on it. Like they already had to sell him. Kudus. Like
Yeah.
everybody else, like
Wait.
2 of the other 3 guys are still on that team and don't play. Like they should not be playing. Like it's
Yeah,
nuts to me. Like
I'm looking at. Wow, their
they,
squad sucks. I'm looking at the team and they
yeah,
suck.
like they signed this summer with the Kudus money. They signed Mads Hermansen, who was probably the worst goalkeeper I've ever seen in the Premier League, and they signed him for 20 mil from Leicester. I am so tired. This is one of my like biggest pet peeves. Do not sign a goalkeeper that is on a relegated club just because he has a high save percentage. There's a reason he has a high save percentage.
Yeah.
His defense in front of him sucks. That doesn't mean he's an amazing goalkeeper. He didn't keep teams up. We've seen it time and time again. Aaron Ramsdale, trash. Like the guy like would rather watch pigeons on the pitch than catch a ball. Like you have Mads Hermansen here who like just I think he gave up like 20 goals in the first 4 games. They had to bench him for Areola. Like what are we doing here? Like I'm
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
sick
this
of.
team sucks.
And you want to know what? West Ham fans, they thought they were going to be world beaters. I'm glad that they're going to go down because of one thing and one thing only. They drove the only guy to win them this century trophy of any kind, their first ever European trophy, David Moyes. They drove him out because they wanted to play, quote, more exciting football. Breaking news, breaking
Yeah.
news,
And
breaking news. A club like West Ham should not be playing exciting football. Play the most boring football you can think of, get 3 points, go home, and go back into Europe. What do you want? You want to play exciting football? Your owner used to like run a porn website. Like, what are we doing here? Like, the guy doesn't know ball. Like, I'm sorry. They're a poorly run club. Their fans are poor sports. Their players are dog shit. Like, that club can. The only good thing about West Ham is that they love beating up on Chelsea fans. That's the only redeeming quality of West Ham.
All right. Well, West Ham
Sorry.
lost 3-0 to Wolves.
Sorry.
So that's all I got, but thank you, Pooh. Let's keep ripping through this. Arsenal with a late comeback to beat Bournemouth 3-2. Gabriel with a pretty shitty mistake that led to a goal, and then scores what was it 6 minutes later?
Yeah.
Scores himself, so redeems himself, and then Declan Rice with a brace. First game back after injury, because I think he missed the Aston Villa game, yeah. And then this was his he got a full run in here. So
Arsenal have been, I think he was maybe hurt. I don't think he was injured. Everybody kept saying he was injured.
Oh, I see what you're saying. He's just like a knock, is what you're saying.
Yeah, because Timber, the game before, wasn't even on the bench, didn't play. The game before that, Saliba was the same thing. I think they're just trying to keep some of these guys from getting too injured, or like later on, like kind of keeping them fresh in a way, and giving them kind of a rest in this like kind of really hectic schedule right now. Because I think we have like 9 games this month in January alone. So I wouldn't be shocked if you're gonna see like somebody like maybe not against Liverpool this weekend, but like Saka, for the next Premier League game, not even be named to the bench, and everybody's gonna be like, oh, he's hurt, and then plays the next game. Like, I just think it's right now a rotational thing, because we actually, for the first time all year, besides like 1 or 2 players, basically everybody's fit, and now you're starting to see the full breadth of the bench of Arsenal. And you're sitting there and you're like, well, like Kai Havertz this weekend didn't even make the trip. And it's like, he's technically fit. So it's like one of those things where I just think some guys are just, for certain games, going to be left off the bench in general. But yeah.
Yep. All right. Leeds and United draw, and the funny stat from this. So I think it was Leeds' last 3 games. Let me know if I'm missing it. I think maybe Pucc shared this in a Twitter group chat we have.
Yep, me.
This past weekend, Amorim's. Yep. All right. Why don't you say it then? You're good. You can say it.
Last 3 games that Leeds have played at Ellen Road, Amorim's been sacked. Salah had his post-game tirade, and Enzo Mascara left Chelsea.
Yeah. So pretty crazy. Who will be at Ellen Road next? Let's see what teams are still playing. Leeds schedule. Let's see if Spurs have already played at Ellen Road. If so, I think we're safe.
We have
no,
not.
Newcastle plays there on Wednesday.
Oh, Newcastle. The Saudis are backing out of the club and selling.
No, sorry. They're at they'll be at St. James's. Fulham play at Ellen Road next. Arsenal on January 31st. Nottingham Forest. Mr. Marnakis might get shot after that. Leeds City, February 28th.
That was a joke. That was a joke.
Just a joke. Let's go. Tottenham have already played at Ellen Road, so we're good. We're going to win the Prem. Sorry, Pooch. Yep. Yeah, just a really funny stat. Newcastle beat Palace 2-0. Spurs draw Sunderland 1-1. Just Spurs suck. There's zero excitement with any of these games. Mohamed Kudus gets hurt in within the first, in 10 minutes?
Yeah, I saw a tweet. It was his heat map. And it was just a line from the center field to the bench.
Literally, dude just got hurt. And of course, we just sold at one of our wingers that could play his role. So, Spurs suck. I just hate my life. There's nothing to talk about. I do it every week. And then people have told me, they're like, it's so funny. You say there's nothing to talk about with Tottenham, and then you go on a 15-minute rant. So I'm not going to do it today. Fulham draw Liverpool 2-2. Harry Reid, which wild name, absolute banger though. In the 90th, I think it was 90th +5 or 90th +6. Top bins to draw that game. Scenes, just no one marked him. Ball just fell to him. Dude said, you know what, fuck it, we ball, and just hit it top bins. I don't know if that ball could have gotten any more top 90. Just a sick finish.
Real quick, Ethan,
yes, Pooch.
Do you know what his name translates to in Brazilian Portuguese?
No, what does that translate to, Pooch?
Harry Reid, get your mind out of the gutter.
Thanks, Pooch. that was a good one, Pooch. Anyway. We're having a good one, man. I'm exhausted. City draw Chelsea. Enzo Fernandez with a late equalizer there. Yeah, I guess they don't need Enzo. Get it? Enzo Maresca. Okay.
You guys are on fire.
Around the world, Barcelona beat the shit out of Espanyol 2-0 in the Catalan derby. Joan Garcia is the best goalkeeper in the world. I don't care what anybody says. Dude went into like an extremely hostile environment and legitimately saved Barca multiple times. There was a ridiculous one-on-one with Espanyol's striker where he was going to try and dribble around Garcia, and he just like made a ridiculous save, diving at his ankles. He also threw Gerard Martin at the ball. I don't know if you guys saw this
Yeah.
highlight. There was like a bounce. He just threw him at the ball. Awesome. He was not losing that game. My goat. And Daniel Olmo hit a banger. The goal looked like the Luis Suarez, like, oh, we didn't have to put that top bins. Yeah, it was Olmo time. We're all tapping the watch. He didn't have to put that top bins. Same exact thing. Olmo banger. Fermin Lopez had both assists. That dude turns up specifically against Madrid, against Espanyol. He balls out and he has like the crazy celebrations. He had an assist and there's like a picture of him like standing, like screaming into the air, like fist pumping. Everyone's like, bro, relax. Like, you're supposed to win this game. Yeah, let's go through it. Como beat Udinese 1-0. Big win for us, O. Any notes on that one, O?
I wasn't able to tune in. So my extent of the game was just watching the highlights, but we look great.
Yep. What type of goal did we score?
There's some nice attacking play that resulted in the ball at the back of the net.
It was a penalty.
Which was just awesome. Yeah, that's exactly what I was getting at. It's just so exciting. It's a great time to be a Como fan, really.
Yeah, we're on the Como. That was a good one.
Oh, that was great.
Atalanta beat Roma 1-0. Pucc, thoughts?
Roma lost. So next game, Lyon beat Monaco. Tagliafico got kicked in the
let's
throat.
talk about this. No, we're gonna talk about this Roma game before we get to that.
I did.
So Pucc opened the doors to me and Owen becoming Roma fans. What has been your Roma record? Let's see what your record has been, or excuse me, your past fixtures. Let's see. Do you know off the top of your head? Have you guys gotten 3 points since you opened the door and then threw it
I think
shut in our face?
We've won 1 out of 3. I think we've won 1 out of 3.
You beat Genoa. You're right. You're totally right. You lost to Juventus. You beat Genoa, which is like they're not a good team. Like Como would definitely beat them. You know what I mean?
Anybody
so whatever.
could beat
And then you
them.
guys lost Atalanta.
17.
That's my point. Yeah, just giving Pucc some shit there because he doesn't want us to be Roma fans, even though I kind of wish I was allowed to be. Lyon beat Monaco. Tagliafico got kicked in the throat. It happened to him actually last year too. For those that don't know, Thomas Mueller did the same thing. So I guess that throat got a magnet. You know what I'm saying, Pucc?
Hey, yo. Was that the reaction you wanted?
Man. I don't know what reaction I was looking for. Real Madrid beat Real Betis 5-1. Fuck you guys.
Your heart was not in that at all, Pucc. Not at all.
Do you want to do it again?
Nah, not really.
No, I think we can just keep moving.
The Pucc delay right now is also awesome. Just the response that comes in after his potato puts it through.
I keep talking and waiting for like 3 seconds, and then you guys react.
This is awesome.
I gotta get this Wi-Fi figured out.
Madrid beat Betis 5-1. You gotta have people stop stealing your Wi-Fi, dude. That's the issue.
I don't know what's happening.
You really gotta get your shit together 2026. You don't have a shoulder, and on top of that, you got no fucking Wi-Fi, man. What do you do all day?
Read.
Harry Reid. The pause is so funny. Ay. If anyone has made it this far in the episode, they're probably never coming back. Anyway, let's rip through this. Madrid beat Betis 5-1. Goncalo Garcia had a sick hat-trick, including a half volley and a heel flick. Real Sociedad drew Atleti 1-1. And then PSG beat Paris FC 2-1 in the first Paris derby since 1978. I wish I actually tuned in for that. Did anybody see, were the vibes good?
The vibes were fantastic.
Did you tune in? We're a real ball knower podcast.
This is terrible.
Yeah, let's get into our midweek preview. You know what? Not every podcast can be the best podcast. You know that? Like, and you can't expect us to always be like the best at what we do. You know, we're out here. We did a really great segment before with the transfer players where we just named people that play those positions. Essentially, it was not realistic. We just went through a weekend recap. We didn't watch 95% of the games. I just wrote the scores down, and now let's get into the midweek preview here. Owen loves it. All right, Pooch. Arsenal versus Liverpool. Who's gonna win? Go.
Arsenal.
Today, man. Okay, Arsenal. I'm going to take Liverpool. Spurs versus Bournemouth. Bournemouth's going to win.
Spurs
It's
is
going to probably
gonna
be some
win.
menus. Why would you back Spurs? You're an Arsenal fan.
Because you're not even backing your own team. I had to back your team for you.
Fair enough, I guess. Fair enough. Palace versus Villa. That should be maybe an exciting game. I think Villa. Yeah.
Yeah, Villa. I feel like Palace, they've kind of lost their juice, their mojo. Glasner's talking about leaving. He's probably gone. Eze left. Just feels like maybe the spark's gone out with that team.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like Palace, just in the sense of like I liked seeing them do well. It was kind of a fun story, and I liked a lot of their players. It kind of sucks, but I think Villa are just in great form, and so I think they'll continue here. Fulham versus Chelsea. I'm assuming, is this going to be Rosenor's first game, or are they going to rock with the?
I have to think it's Rosenor's first game.
Well, what is it? It's at the weekend, so what he's gonna. I'm trying to
It's
take a look.
Wednesday. They play Wednesday.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but I mean, I wouldn't expect him to like sit there and make wholesale changes. He'll probably just rock with the 11 that played against City
Yeah.
and then manage from there.
Everything, a lot of Chelsea accounts, I've just typed in and looking up, they are saying that it looks like this 37 minutes ago, Kellen McFarland to remain in charge of Chelsea against Fulham as well. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I'm sure he's going to get there. He's going to train with the team. I'm sure he'll put his input in to the team,
Yeah.
but it makes sense with literally I guess like he's been there a little bit longer than we think, but I don't know. I think it's just too quick to throw him in to manage. And it's like, just like you said, there's no need for him to even touch the team. Give him like a couple of days and then maybe the weekend. For that reason, I'm taking Fulham. Also because I hate Chelsea. Man U versus Burnley.
Man U.
Yeah, I like Darren Fletcher, so I think he gets a result. Owen, what do you think here? We're gonna make this the Owen lock of the week. Man U versus Burnley.
I honestly I would love to say Burnley, but I feel like I have to pick Man U here.
Okay, fair enough. City versus Brighton. Give me City. If De Zerbi was still there, maybe I'd take them, but I'm just rocking with City. And then midweek here around the world, we have the Spanish Supercopa. So you have Real versus Atletico, and then you have Barca versus Bilbao. I'm backing a Barca versus Real Madrid final, with Barca obviously beating the shit out of Madrid. Me and Pucc being Cuyed. Maybe we'll get together and watch the game together.
Maybe, if my Wi-Fi is working by then.
It's all right. You can drive here.
Oh, okay. Then I'll go there to watch it.
Yeah, Pooch decides that he just wants to make this a virtual job and then doesn't have Wi-Fi for it, you know? All right, and then it looks like Bundesliga, I guess this week is just playing like friendlies, which is just weird. I don't know if you guys noticed that. When I was doing some research on all these games, it said club friendlies. So really weird that they're playing friendlies against each other. That may have just been an error. But yeah, any other games we're missing here, fellas? Pooch, AFCON. We talked about it a little bit, but just can you highlight that again real quick? What we should be expecting over the next couple of days?
Yeah, we should be expecting the final two games of the round of 16 being played today, and then over the next couple of days, the quarterfinals. And then I think next time we talk, next episode, we should have at least a couple of the would we have a couple of the? No, we wouldn't have. I mean, we'd know who the quarterfinals are, but we wouldn't know who won yet.
Okay, cool. So, I mean, we're getting to the nitty gritty. I'm kind of hoping for a Morocco-Egypt final. I don't know if you saw the Egypt coach was like giving shit to the Morocco fans, which I don't know why there were Morocco fans there. Well, I guess the tournament's in Morocco.
Okay.
So I guess he just assumed everyone in the fans in the stadium is.
Yeah,
I meant it like.
I was gonna let you get there on your own,
yeah.
but I'm glad you did.
It's a great episode. All right. Everyone's favorite segment, the one that gets random people commenting on our TikTok, the one that got us up to 60 followers on IG. Owen, are you ready for our Mystery 11 here, sir?
Yeah, it feels like we've been recording for 4 hours. It's insane that we still have a Mystery 11 to do. Let's get into it.
It's a long episode, man. That's probably why we're all delirious. All right. Oh, I'm going to start. Give me the goalkeeper.
I was hoping I didn't have to say this name this early. This goalkeeper is Tamerlan Anarbekov.
Can you just spell the last name? I gotta have to look this guy up.
Anarbekov.
Bekov. I know nothing about him. People with annoying names to spell.
A great guess. That's not it.
Okay. Pucc.
And give me the left back.
Left back, Alejandro Grimaldo.
Oh,
Okay.
people with
Interesting.
the first letter in their first name starting with A.
You cut out and I couldn't hear what you said, but it was wrong.
Okay.
Well, so this guy, Bekov, is playing in the Champions League right now with Kairat Almaty. Is Grimaldo in the Champions League right now, or Leverkusen in Europa?
Leverkusen's in Champions League.
Okay, there may be something there, Pooch. Give me the striker.
Mbappe.
Okay, it's definitely Champions League. Is this these people with an assist in the Champions League?
No.
Damn. Okay.
Give me the
Poochie,
right
you're up.
back.
The right back, Nico O'Reilly.
Yeah, it has to be Champions League based. These people with wait.
More than 4 appearances in the Champions League.
That is not it. It's probably true though.
Okay, give me center mid.
Center mid, Hakan Çalhanoğlu.
Okay, are these Çalhanoğlu? Spelling that's awesome. All right. Market's website has not been working well for me today. I don't know if anyone else has been having issues.
Yeah.
Are these people with a yellow card in the Champions League?
No.
Damn. Pooch.
Give me a center back.
Center back. Let's do our boy Mickey Van de Ven.
I was gonna say, what is Van de Ven? Yeah, what has he done in the Champions League? Has he
People,
captained his team?
players with a goal and assist in a game in the Champions League.
That is not it.
Damn. Let me think. Well, let me first ask. Ooh, I think I have a cheeky one. I think this will tell me it. Right back, or excuse me, center back. The other center back.
Jose Jimenez with the G, the guy from Atletico.
Is this people with a top speed over something?
No.
Damn.
There you're grinding those foot mob filters.
Poochie, you're up.
Give me the right wing.
I'll give you the right wing. That'll be Michael Elise.
Dude, what is it? It has to be Champions League based.
Ballers with a sick TikTok edit.
Okay. We've gone off the rails.
That's actually a really good guess, but that's not it.
See, it's a good guess.
That's true. Good guess.
Definitely gonna keep that one in my back pocket.
I gotta look up more about this Bekov guy. I feel like he's the key. Is it players? You're laughing, which means it's not. He has no yellow. He has no red.
It's just funny to say that he's the key.
He's the key to this.
Just
is it
on
players
principle.
who wear number 15 for their national team?
No.
Him and Van de Ven both do. Did I even ask for a position?
Nope.
No.
I didn't. The guy of wait, who was the right wing, Pooch?
Elise.
Okay. Let me get another center mid.
Do you want the 6 or the 10?
10.
Dominic Soboslai. He's been in like 4 of these.
Yeah, I know. You have like a little crush on him or something. I will never know how to spell Soboslai. Pooch, try and spell it right now on camera.
Nope.
Soboslai. I have no idea any of this. Have they all? Pooch, you already asked about minutes. What are we doing?
He's done.
Pooch is fried, bro. Pooch is fried.
He's checked out.
Oh my god, he can't handle a little bit of a longer pod. Dominic Soboslai, UCL. There's a lot of really good in this. Are these guys who have played at least 4 full matches for their team?
I'm sure they all have, but no.
Pooch, why are you throwing your hand in the air? I just asked if you asked that.
I did.
No, fuck you. I'm over you. All right, next one.
Left wing.
Anthony Gordon.
Dude, are they all like 24 years old?
No.
I didn't. That was my guess.
I know. I was just saving you the Google search.
Like, wait, real quick, Pooch. A lot of them are free kick takers.
I know, but do we really think the goalie's taken a free kick and scored?
No, but maybe an assist.
Okay. All have had a goal contribution related.
No. Wait, no, it can't be. He doesn't have an assist. I just looked him up. He doesn't have an assist.
That's why I was okay. All are left-footed.
That's a good shout. All right, give me the final center mid, the 6.
Felix Nemeka,
And Mecca. I gotta look up this guy. Is he Liverpool?
Dortmund,
Felix
the
and
German lad.
All
Dual
right, Pooch,
nationals.
let's put our heads
Dual
together here a little bit.
nationals.
Again.
Again. That would be very Owen just to try and to stump us. All right. Oh my god. I have no idea. Ooh. How tall is Soboslai? Owen didn't say anything. Oh no, he's shaking his head no. Okay, no. Fuck, this sucks. Felix. Give us a hint. Does this have to do with Champions League?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So we're not off on that. Have these guys all won man of the match for their team in the Champions League?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my god. Oh my god. It was
Yes.
that easy. Oh, that's back-to-back weeks I saved Pooch's dumbass. Oh
That's
my
great.
god.
Brother, it
That-
hasn't been the
alright,
first 2 times, and it won't be the last 2 times.
Yeah. As everyone could tell, we are absolutely fried. Oh, and that's a good one. I like that. That's
That
a
was
very
a great
good one.
one.
Okay. Alright.
That's the right level of difficulty. I don't know. Wait, was that your hard or medium?
I think that was the medium.
Okay. I don't even want to know what hard was.
I'm not gonna tell you.
Oh, now you're having fun, Pooch. Okay, right as we end. Pooch is
Well,
really
we
a
were
last
gonna
guy in,
lose.
first
I
guy out
hate
type
losing.
of dude.
All the
I
work
hate
is done,
losing.
and he's just so excited.
Dude, Pooch literally got on the pod late, has lagged out 7 times during this episode, and is the first one to want to be out of here. He is
Oh,
recording
I could
on
go
his
all night.
phone in the corner.
I could go all night. Pause.
Can I quote you on that?
Pooch, we've all said that, but all of us know we can't back it up at some point. I won't say good episode. I will say this was an episode. It was a good episode. It was a fun episode. Maybe not our most clean episode, but that's all right. We're not clean guys anyway. That being said, everyone make sure, please continue to follow the socials. Keep pushing them. We had a really nice push over the weekend. I think we're about 60 followers on the gram, maybe like 58, 59, which was huge because at some point we were sitting around like just 25. And then on TikTok, we're doing pretty good. So I was going to keep pushing that out. We're going to keep pushing content out. Please keep commenting, letting us know what you think about things. Number one, it helps us from like getting just better as a podcast and what people want to hear. And then number two, it also helps us. It helps push revenue, not revenue. I wish it helps push numbers, streams, things like that. So other than that, follow the socials. We will be back on Thursday. I'm going to give Pooch a chance to speak here. Maybe say something. Say goodbye to the fans.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. I think we had a blast. Sorry about my lag. I'll be in studio Friday, so it'll be better. But yeah, like Ethan said, follow us on all socials. Watch the YouTube too. You guys could actually see our beautiful faces. You'll be like, man, these guys sound super handsome. But then you'll be like, oh my God, how did they get 3 handsome lads to do a footy podcast? That's insane. I expected them to be kind of handsome, but that handsome? Whoa. Like, so just watch the YouTube, follow the gram, follow the TikTok, and listen to our Patreon too. Get more content on the Patreon.
That being said, class is permanent, form is temporary. Everybody have a great couple of days here. We'll see you soon. Peace.
I wasn't lying, off the rail.
Class is permanent, farm is temporary.